rational and sane things will be said on the PokeDuels TV stream.
All right. We're live.
We are live, officially. The world can hear us. We are live. Hello, everybody. It is an honor to be here. I am Sawyer Melban, and I'm here with Ethan Morgan. And we are going to be commentating over the Game Grid SLC Paradox Rift format tournament today. I'm very, very, very excited to see what fun and unique stuff is being brought to the table here. A lot of really, really good players in the Utah area, especially like around Game Grid. So I'm really, really excited to see what they're bringing. Ethan, how are you doing today, man? He's muted. I think he's busy. So I'm just going to carry things on here. Paradox Rift has brought a lot of change to this format, and there's a lot of really unique, interesting decks that are going to be hopefully showcased here today. I'm excited to see what new ideas and cards are being utilized and how they're going to do into each other, especially in a new format. Going into a really, really big tournament in LAIC, I think it's going to be really, really important to see how these new cards are being utilized and what they're going to be able to contribute to this upcoming tournament, and to maybe allow you to consider what you might be playing in some of your future tournaments post LAIC. We're going to be getting into a game here shortly. We have, I believe I see Nick Alvarez on the left with his shirt, and if I'm not mistaken, it's Makani on the right based off the deck they're playing. Makani Tran versus Nick Alvarez. Nick is coming through here with the Zoroark Toolbox deck, a deck that I've seen him and a couple others working on for quite a bit here. Deck is super interesting, plays a bunch of different attackers, and it's really looking to come from behind to win. Whereas on the right, we see the Palkia V-Star deck. Something that's kind of fallen out of favor in recent memory, but we're going to be getting into a game here. I think this deck has a lot of legs still. Oh, is that Ethan Morgan? He shows up. He arrived.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'll be doing the play-by-play commentating today alongside Sawyer and Melban doing the analyzing for me. We're going to get into this one, and Makani Tran starting on the right. See a couple Palkia Vs there, but he's going to start with the Spiritomb in the active and the Battle Pass into play. See what he's going to go get here. A couple Palkia's prize as well. Not too good for him, but he does have one at the front of the deck there, and a Radiant Greninja will be the grab.
Something to keep in mind, although the Palkias are prized, is that in this matchup against the Zoroark Toolbox deck, they are a lot slower. And Makani's going to have a lot of time to take his prizes, because it's just going to take a while naturally for the Zoroark deck to get their knockouts. The deck naturally wants to play from behind due to cards like Reversal Energy and Iono. So Makani is hopefully going to have time to get these Palkias off the prizes and be able to chain his attackers together. Battle VIP Pass, great thing to see on the opening turn here. Just going to allow his start to be much more fluid. Him to establish a board and get these Palkias up and running. Radiant Greninja also grabbed. Going to allow him to just draw more cards and develop his board further coming up.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty big hand here. He's thinking about the sequencing. I think I see a Cross Switcher and Ultra Ball, Water Energy there. A lot of good cards. He's trying to figure out what he wants to get rid of and what he wants to use here. Looks like the Ultra Ball.
Yeah, I think the interesting predicament for him here is whether or not he wants to invest the energy as an attachment for turn or to utilize concealed cards here. I like the play that he's going for here, though, of grabbing the Chien-Pao. Since the escape rope is in the hand, this is going to allow him to get more energies in hand, which is going to allow him to use concealed cards to get more resources, as well as get an attachment for the following turn. This Chien-Pao just really, really allowing this deck to just further its game plan. You get a bunch of energies, which you're going to be able to concealed cards away with Greninja to draw more cards, and it also synergizes with Palkia's V-Star power, which will allow him to put 3 energies from the discard pile onto his water Pokemon in any way he likes.
Yeah, already one Water Energy hitting the board there, and he's going to attach the other one, and I think that's just the turn.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid turn here from Makani. Love to see it.
Over to Nick's side now, we're going to get the attachment, and he's going to play the Iono immediately. Not a very good hand, but the attachment can be used on a retreat later, possibly on the Hisuian Basculin.
Yeah, Hisuian Basculin is a really, really good attacker in this deck. Just allows you to set up your board. Not having to commit an energy to it is a really, really big deal. It means you can almost always get it off just by attaching to your active and retreating. See the Great Ball coming out here. Not a lot of great hits, if I'm not mistaken. He's really looking to get a bunch of basics out to develop his board. And I just don't really see a lot of evolutions in there. I saw Curly and a Zoroark. Not really what you want. Oh, never mind. There's a Zoro in there, which is all right.
Not a very good hand off the Iono either. See a Ralts possibly, so not a terrible board here. He'll have 2 Zoros and a Ralts. But the rest of the hand was Zoroarks and Energy. Not exactly what you want to see. He needs those Pokemon in the discard pile for that
Oof.
Phantom Transformation ability. And
Yeah.
he's going to prioritize the Basculin here, playing that Ultra Ball to get running 2 Zoroarks. And yep, here comes that energy to retreat. And he's going to gather the crew.
I
That
think
gets
this
the
decision
two
makes a
basic
lot of
Pokemon.
sense. Yeah, I think this is definitely the correct play. I think you need to prioritize getting a bigger board and maybe getting a Manaphy out here. The Greninja threat is always very, very active in this matchup, allowing him to snipe 2 Pokemon in play. Makani just can decimate Nick's board. Oh, doesn't even go for the Manaphy. Oh, it's prized. I just recognized. Yeah, the Manaphy is prized. Something to keep in mind as well that the Super Rod being prized is very relevant because he discarded 2 Zolwarks off this Ultra Ball earlier, which could have a really, really big impact going later into the game if he's not able to get full utilization out of something like a Miriam, just because the Rod is prized and it's also at the top of the prizes, so he's likely not going to have access to it for the entirety of this game.
Bidoof that he missed last turn coming down now for Makani, and I think there's a very clear goal here. He wants to use that Palkia V-Star ability to get the Radiant Greninja Moonlight Shuriken attack off to kill 2 Ralts here, as that would just destroy Nick's draw engine and would basically destroy any idea of Nick getting back into this game within a reasonable amount of time. So we're going to see 2 Water Energies coming out from the Shivery Chill and a quick deck search, just seeing how he wants to sequence out this turn and how he's going to get to that attack.
I agree. I definitely agree the Greninja is going to be the right course of play here. Makani did invest the escape rope already, and we see another in the prizes, so he is going to have to find another switch card, but there is the Irida coming through, so he's going to be able to do that.
Got the Irida and the Switch coming out. Now he's just got to figure out what the Pokemon's going to be. Just another Palkia V to come down. More attacking support. Nothing bad to have.
I think something that might have been a bit of a mistake from Nick here is I know there's a Curlia in his hand right now, and he decided to discard 2 of the Zolwarks here. So if both of the Ralts get knocked out, Nick's hand is pretty much dead. Whereas if the Zolwarks were kept, something that you can do in this matchup, or just in general with the Zolwark deck, is you can actually use the Phantom Transformation ability to swap into Curlias to keep your draw engine going. Whereas with Nick's current hand, I don't believe there was a draw supporter there. It was just a Curlia. So he's not going to have a lot going on after this, which is
And
really,
with
really
that Radiant
unfortunate.
Greninja doing the concealed cards, the play is online for the Switch to be used and the 2 energy with the Star Portal V-Star power to go to those Ralts and knock them out. Quick turn for Makani, but very effective. Taking 2 prizes, including that Palkia V-Star for next turn right off the prizes.
I'm looking at this hand. It's just a reversal and a Rye. Oh, wait, was that a Rye on top deck? I believe it was a Metal committed earlier, was it not? That's actually a really, really solid top deck. Probably would have preferred it to be a draw supporter, but being able to search out any card from your deck is a pretty good option for you here.
I think that does keep him in the
Yeah,
tempo of the game. He'll be behind possibly another turn here, but this deck, like you said, can play from behind with those reversal energies, one right there at the top of the deck.
absolutely. I think we are going to have to see Nick eventually start establishing a bigger board, though, getting some Curlias and stuff. Otherwise, this is
And
going to be a really, oh, he's just stopping the deck search. Is he? What is he thinking about? Oh,
doesn't like the
okay.
prize
It looks like he's
cards.
scooping and he's showcasing all of his prize cards right now.
And that's going to be a game 1 scoop from Nick
Yeah,
Alvarez. I think prizing the Manaphy and losing both Ralts on the start was too detrimental there. I think he might have thought about it, and the Raihan wasn't going to bring him back in time. Going to scoop game 1 to Makani Tran there. And
yeah.
Makani, pretty good matchup here for him, honestly, with what he saw there. I think he really likes it. He obviously should have been expecting the Manaphy, but I mean, I saw the cross switchers. I don't think it's too far fetched to think of a Cologne here.
hmm I will say though, I believe in the opening hand earlier we did see a Jolteon in Nick's deck, which is a really really nice attacker to have access to. Um, does 90 for if you have a reversal energy attached, does 90 damage plus 90 more if your opponent's active is an EX or a V, if I'm not mistaken. Which Palkia is a V, and it's weak to lightning, which means you're going to be able to get a one hit knockout on it, which is going to allow you to really really swing the tempo of the match. Um, and
The
you're going to be
deck's
able to trade
cut.
very, very favorably into those Palkias.
The deck's cut, and a decent start here from both sides. Makani going to start to Chien-Pao, and I believe Nick starting that Hisui and Basculin there. Prizes
Mm-hmm.
coming down, nothing too bad on either side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's
Mm.
a Ralt on the start. Nick does choose to go first here,
It's
and
definitely
he's going to
interesting.
start off with the Artisan.
Mm-hmm. Something that is should be mentioned about the Zoroark Toolbox deck is there actually is an argument for wanting to go second in some matchups. Just because you want to be able to utilize your Basculin, utilize your supporters to guarantee you can get a wider board on the first turn. You make it easier for your opponent to get an easy attack on the second turn. Allow them to take a prize card earlier. But because you're willing to go behind on prizes, you're pretty okay with that usually. It's just going second allows you to have a higher chance to establish your board and not get put off by any weird stuff. In this matchup, I'm not sure if I entirely agree with going first. I know against a lot of normal Chien-Pao variants, a lot of them, I don't know. I feel like the threat of a turn one attack isn't very huge from the Palkia deck here, and you'd rather just be able to make it easier to establish a bigger board. I don't think you really care to get aggressive. I feel like you'd rather just be able to utilize the Basculin earlier.
Yeah, 100%. And goes for the Great Ball there, maybe searching for another Zoro or Basculin, but nothing of note. Finds a Toad Squirrel, puts it in the hand, and Makani off to another great start. Benches the Palkia V, goes ahead and find that Battle Pass, and he's going to prize check his Pokemon here. I wouldn't see the grab being any different. Could be Radiant Greninja and Bidoof, or Radiant Greninja and Palkia, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I do
another
expect the
very
Bidoof
good
and the
start.
Paw. I do expect the Bidoof and the Greninja to be grabbed here. Just make it easier for Makani to establish a big board. Just get a bunch of cards drawn. It's going to make it easier to piece together a possible cross-switch or cologne later in the game. Also, just make it easier to stream Palkias and keep their attacks coming through. But he does opt to just get another Palkia off of this, which is interesting.
Oh, he does have the Artisan, so that's
Oh,
actually
yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he's just going to
yeah,
opt
okay.
for
So
it.
because of the Artisan not letting him get Roblox or Vs, he is going to need to go for the Bidoof off the Artisan. Really smart, actually. Heads up play there. Not a lot of players will notice that on first glance. They'll just Battle Pass for the Bidoof and won't be able to get the Radiant Greninja or the Palkia V off that Artisan.
Mm-hmm.
So heads up play here, and while he's in there, he's going to go ahead and Shivery Chill for 2 energy. Another really good setup. The hand's very strong, lots of energy to work with, and he's going to set up a very good board for himself going into his next turn.
Indeed. I really like where this board is going for Makani. The turn has been pretty explosive so far. Hasn't even played a supporter yet. I believe I saw an Iono in the hand, if I'm not mistaken, earlier, which could be very, very nice here.
Does still have the supporter online. He's going to go ahead and get the concealed cards first. He might be wanting the Irida for the turn, but I also don't hate the Iono for the turn. Attaches the energy. Now he's thinking how he wants to play this hand. Has that escape rope, has that Irida, and I believe I also see that Iono.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to escape rope first into the Palkia. Could be looking for maybe even a stadium bump, possibly with that Rule of Region attack.
Oh, Nick is adjusting the camera. Good for Nick.
Good for Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Makani doing God's work, switching the Zorua into the active for him because Nick's trying his best. A little preoccupied. It's all good. This is an interesting play from Makani here, opting to commit the rope to utilize Rule the Region. But I actually don't hate this. You saw
I don't
Velocity,
hate that either,
the Velocity being grabbed, which I think is a very, very important resource in this matchup. Being able to get rid of these problematic one-of attackers like the Jolteon I mentioned earlier, maybe a Scizor if that comes out, because I'd be able to deal with the Chien-Paos very efficiently. Also, it allows the Artisan to be bumped, which I believe Nick is going to be getting a lot more value out of than Makani will throughout this match. Artisan allowing Nick to get a bunch of Zoruas in play a lot more easily throughout the game as he is committing them to get different attackers going. Velocity, super strong. Makes this matchup really, really hard for Nick to navigate.
Yeah, Rule the Region going off there does put the stadium into hand, not into play, so Makani has to hold that stadium, and Nick is going to get everlasting usage from that Artisan as much as he can. He knows that Lost City's coming next turn, so he's going to go ahead and get the Manaphy out immediately, not forgetting to use it, and knows the threat of that Radiant Greninja coming next turn if he doesn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the hand not looking too bad for him. He's got that Curlia. He's going to go in Refinement. He also has the Iono I saw earlier. Gets the attachment down for turn. Not sure if I like that one, but he's going to go ahead and pop the Iono.
I think it's going to be all right. If we see Hisui and Basculin come out, I feel like this is going to be a pretty solid turn for Nick. Definitely just want to commit the energy in case you want to move into something else, especially if you whiff another Zorua or something. You just want to get it out of the active so you can have an attacker on the following turn. What I think was more likely is not a ton in the sand actually. Just gonna bench another Zorua, play an Ultra Ball, get the Scizor into the discard. That's something you'd love to see hit the discard here. Probably one of your best attackers in this matchup. Can do really, really big damage. Almost all of Makani's Pokemon have abilities. Scizor does 10 plus 50 more for each energy your opponent has. Each Pokemon that has an ability on your opponent's side of the field. It also hits weakness on Chien-Pao, which will allow it to get a very, very easy one-hit KO on. We're just going to
As you said,
see...
Nick's gonna get the retreat. He's gonna get that Basculin for the final Ralts down. Pretty solid board here, but Makani, the Iono not stopping him. I think every card in his deck is pretty good to look at. He drew the Palkia V-Stars. He has the outs to the energy. And more importantly, he has that Irida and the Melanie in hand. He's actually gonna play the Melanie. I don't hate that, as it sets up the immediate attack in the active. And wow,
Oh my gosh.
double cross
That
with your
is
cologne
one of
off
the
of the
melodies
Melanie.
of all time. Wow.
This could actually make him reconsider, because remember, if there's only 2 Zoras on the bench, if he goes cross switch or canceling clone, killing both, that will effectively slow Dick down way too much. While Makani still has multiple attackers on board, but I don't know if he can get to it.
I think he can. He'd have to make a really weird play. He would have to retreat the Palkia and the active into the Chien-Pao, but that would allow him to get 2 more energies out, and after using concealed cards, that would put 3 energies in the discard, allowing the Star Portal to be used to set up the Greninja, and you still have the 1 extra energy from the Chien-Pao to attach for turn to a Palkia. The one thing that could be pretty worrisome if you go for this play, we see Makani not opt to, which I really like, playing very conservative here, realizing that if he was to go for the cross switch or Cologne play, he would not have a really big board state afterwards. He's very real chance he runs out of energies or isn't able to establish more attackers afterwards. Just saving it for another turn in the future. He already has all the cards in hand, so it's always going to be live in the future, and the Manaphy and the Curlias aren't going to be exiting play. So he doesn't have to go for it now if he doesn't want to. I really, really like this play from Makani.
He doesn't bump the Artis on that turn, as the Lost City had gotten Iono'd out of his hand. I forgot about that one. So Nick actually didn't use his Artisan yet again, and he knows Makani did pull the cross switcher Cologne and did show his opponent not a normal thing that happens, but Nick's going to take advantage of that and go get another Zoro. I think you do that either way, but in hindsight, he obviously wants to make sure he has another one ready to go.
Absolutely.
And I think his number 1 priority this turn is just finding his way to an attack with an Ultra Ball and a Reversal Energy in hand. Reversal Energy is active now, so he just needs to find a way to get there. And he has a couple Pokemon in the discard ready to attack with, like that Scizor you said.
Also, there's a Titan at the top of the discard there. Really, really big hitter. The Scizor will be doing more damage here, though. We see 5 Pokemon with abilities on Makani's side of the field, meaning that Scizor, for 1 energy, will do a whopping 260 damage. Not quite enough to knock out the Palkia, but applies a lot of pressure, allows it to be cleaned up by pretty much anything else in the future, which would be a really, really big deal. We're just going to see the Iono come out before attaching, before committing anything. This is a really greedy play from Nick, I gotta say. Already having an attacker guaranteed in hand, but never punish. Draws the metal energy, so he's going to be able to attack with this Scizor effectively.
And another Zoroark as well. See if he evolves that bench one as he should.
It's a pretty solid hand. Iono, very good to see. Get rid of the cross switch or Cologne in Makani's hand, because you already know after that threat is looming. Getting both of your Curlias removed from the board would be very, very, very bad news for Nick here. So I would love to see this play.
He's just figuring out what does he want to attack with this turn. He's going to use that Phantom Transformation ability to go into the Scizor. Pretty obvious choice with that Metal Energy in hand. And swinging, like you said, for a 260, so not quite a knockout on this Palkia V-Star, but very, very close. Leaves it in range of just about anything else. Not quite happy with his decision. I think he did think he had the one-hit KO there, but he is missing it. So
yeah, he's doing the math. Don't think it's quite there yet, though. Or he knew, and he just wanted to make sure the correct math was being done. 260, big damage. Yeah, can be cleaned up by almost anything. He could put a reversal on a Curlia and slap for 30 if he really wanted to. Yep, that's 260. Yep. We're good.
Makani going to draw for turn. Doesn't even need to use the Shivery Chill. He's already got 2 energy in the hand. Hits another Melanie there. Don't know if he's going to want to use it this turn, but he has to. It's the only one in hand. Just attaches to the other Palkia V-Star. I like this setup, getting the Palkias ready to go. And draws the 3 there, building up his hand even more. Temple of Sinnoh, just to get the Artisan out of the way. Also, very, very good stadium against Nick here, as his only 1 prize attacker in the active, now about to go down. Only 1 prize attacker with the basic energy, my bad. And now Nick is basically forced to only play with the scissor or find a stadium out.
Yeah, if I'm
So
not
he's going to
mistaken,
start off with that refinement and hits a reversal.
if I'm not mistaken, Nick only runs 2 Artisan, meaning there's only going to be one more stadium bump to get rid of this temple in the future. And if they get rid of the temple, that means the next time Makani finds a lost city, it's probably going to stick for the entire game. Nick is going to have to manage his resources very, very carefully if he wants to not run out of attackers throughout the rest of this match.
And he's going to go and pop that second refinement. Just want to note as well that Rhyhorn is in the prizes. So the Rhyhorn for the stadium bump is not an option on the table
Oh,
here.
oh, that's a Jolteon. A Jolteon would be a pretty good
It
thing to
is, yeah.
have at this point in the game, but Temple of Sinnoh being in play turns off reversal. The Jolteon's never going to be active.
He doesn't have a metal energy ready to go, and he might not have an attacker here, meaning Makani's Palkia V-Star that's now damaged actually gets its worth out of it, trading 2 for 2 after the damage.
I wonder if there's any attacker in Makani's discard that can maybe be utilized just for a colorless energy. I know Jolteon, the one that was drawn, has an attack that can deal 30 to any Pokemon, which you could commit 1 reversal to, or a DTE. DTE's effect is shut off by the temple, so you wouldn't have to worry about the damage reduction, which would be able to clean it up, but I don't see a way to discard it in hand. We're just going to see a Super Rod come out, getting back some Zoroark pieces. But I don't know if there's a way to get an attack off here in Makani's hand. Sorry, Nick's hand. My apologies.
I think Makani just has the perfect board state set up here because even if this Palkia V-Star in the active goes down, he's got another one ready to come up. And also that threat of the cross switch or canceling clone, just putting those Curlies out of their misery is always on the table here. And
Mhm.
I think if Makani gets there, he will use it. Nick gonna come down with the Gallade, and he's gonna go get Zinnia's Resolve. Wants to just draw as many cards as possible. I think he knows the Rhyhorn is prized, as the Rhyhorn
Mm,
would have been probably his best option there. But he's
yeah.
gonna get their Zinnia's Resolve, and this also lets him get that Jolteon into the discard. I think he knows what attack he needs to get to this turn.
Hmm.
And there's the Artisan off the top. He's got the Stadium bump now. The
Oh yeah.
question is, does he want to use it this turn when he has a way to attack?
Yeah.
He is going to use it.
I maybe would have liked to see that Artisan get saved. I feel like if we see another Temple come out, or maybe this is the fun attack right here. We're gonna see Night Slash if I'm not mistaken
He
for
actually goes
50
ahead and uses,
damage.
and this isn't the worst play he could have done, as he could have Phantom transferred into the Jolteon, knowing the threat of loss that he was looming, and could have gotten it lost zone, and that would have effectively been basically it, as that was his main attacker for this matchup. But he goes ahead
Nice.
and preserves the Jolteon, and we're back over to Makani's side now, even on the 2-2 prizes. But Makani has a pretty clear prize to take here, and I think he's just going to hammer down with this Ultra Ball in hand to go get himself B-Barrel, as he's now got 2 Bidoof on the field. And I think he just wants to evolve at least one of them to start drawing some cards with that Industrious Incisors.
I feel like we're about to just see Makani's turns get really, really crazy from this point forward. It's going to be really, really easy for him to piece together a cross switch or canceling cologne combo. Something to keep in mind with that combo is it allows Makani to play around the Slowbro very effectively in Nick's deck. Slowbro is one of the things that can get a lot of value in in this deck that makes it really, really hard for your opponents to win games sometimes, simply because if they ever go down to 1 prize card and you have 2, you just win. Doesn't matter if you can't knock out anything on your opponent's board, you just instantly take 2 prize cards. And Greninja allows you to go from 2 prizes immediately to 0 to win the game. You get to avoid that Slowbro turn, which is a really big deal.
There's the canceling clone we saw off the Radiant Greninja and B-Barrel draws, and then he also saw the Irida, so he's going to go ahead and Irida for the Palkia V-Star and the Cross Switcher. Not sure if he has the other Cross Switcher in hand, but he's very close, eyeing out those energies in the discard. I think he might have it. I think I do see that other Cross Switcher in the hand.
Mm,
Yep, he's going to get the
yeah.
double Cross Switcher and canceling clone play off, and that's going to allow him to knock out 2 Zorua, the Manaphy, however he wants to go about it here. That does mean if he takes an extra prize next turn and Nick is able to get to a 2 prize KO this turn, the Slowbro is online and ready to go. Now just
Mm,
determining where those energies are going to go after that Star Portal V-Star power.
yeah.
He likes to kill the Curlia, and he's going to get the Manaphy as well. I like
So,
that.
oh,
It allows him to go for another Cross Searcher play if he needs to.
Hmm.
but it also allows him to Greninja with no drawbacks. As I believe if he attaches for 2 more turns, he's still ahead on the prizes.
I think something to keep in mind in this position, though, is this play from Makani does open up a really, really big play here, possibly from Nick, if he's able to boss up a Palkia here. We see the Palpad to send it back already,
He's going
which
to
is super strong,
Palpad
and
the
it's getting searched
bosses.
out. It looks like he already sees it. If he bosses the Palkia here, and Makani has to take another prize and can't do it through the Greninja to avoid the Slowbro turn, Nick might be able to set up for game in this position. That is one of the things that could be really rough about going for the Greninja play early here, is if Nick has the response, he's able to maybe make it to where he's able to close the game out with Slowbro on the next turn, and it looks like that might be happening right now. The one issue I'm
Yeah.
seeing maybe is I don't know if Nick has a way to reestablish the Manaphy, which means if Makani has something like, say, a Raihan, he's going to be able to reestablish the Greninja and close out the game that way. But we're gonna have to
Makani
see.
could
It's
have that
looking
right
really
on.
close.
Yeah, I think Nick sees the line he has to play to now that Makani didn't savor the cross switch or canceling clone for the final turn to dodge the Slowbro. And he's now going to play Makani into a sort of checkmate board position where he's telling Makani, hey, if you don't have the 2 prize KO, I'm going to win with Slowbro. And if you have to manually attach, I'm going to win the game faster than you now that I have 2 boss's orders in deck.
Mm-hmm.
Boss's orders on the Palkia V-Star, and he's going to take the easy 2 prizes with Jolteon and the reversal energy. Now we're evened up, and he's in a pretty good board state. I think the only way he closes out is if Makani has the Raihan. I don't know if he plays it though.
I mean,
Boss's
based off
orders
of
in hand.
yeah, we see some cards come through. No Raihan seen. Really interesting hand here. I think we're likely just going to see an Iono come out, possibly limit Nick's options and just amount of cards in hand. Only at 2 prize cards, no Curlia in play. Um, which honestly, I maybe would have liked to see Nick commit the energy to the Palkia here and try to just say, okay, well, I mean, sorry, not sorry, Makani, but I guess the thing that's interesting as well is you already know Nick didn't have a way to get Manaphy back in the previous hand. Who's to say he hits it off of the Iono or the Galley draw here?
The
And
Iono
if
does come out, and we saw the 2 cards, 2 Zoroarks in the hand, and I believe that was a top deck. Can't really tell what it was,
looks
but
like a
Makani
boss, if
just
I'm not
passed him.
mistaken. See Zolwark, and I believe we're probably going to see the Gallade come through here. Interested to see what is opted to be grabbed here. Something to keep in mind though is that these Zolwarks can become Curlias, which means that the draw engine for Nick is going to be back online here. If there's a Curlia in the discard, I believe there's a one from the
Yeah,
Greninja earlier.
but the thing about doing that is that actually, so what he's done here, evolving both Zoroarks, the Radiant Greninja play actually doesn't win the game anymore. If Makani has that attachment next turn, it won't take 2 prizes.
That
But if he
actually
does
is
Phantom
true.
Transfer into a Curlia, it would allow for the knockout unless Nick had another evolution. I think he's just looking at what he wants.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's okay. Nick did that really weirdly. The boss was already the card in the hand. Now we're gonna see. I believe the Miriam
yep,
get grabbed off the Gallade here. Just did that a little awkwardly. It's all good.
I'm
No,
gonna play the
nothing sketch going
Miriam.
on. I believe just because the mana feedback, obviously, with the Artisan in play, this makes a lot of sense. Maybe more Zorg
This
pieces. Sure, why
this
not?
does get the Zork back in the Zork that he didn't have in deck back in deck,
Mm.
and it gives him a better chance at getting to that.
Yeah, if we don't see a second canceling clone in Makani's list here, I think this is going to be a really rough game for Makani to close out. I think we just see checkmate established on Nick's board here. All that he's going to need to find if Makani takes another knockout is a DTE or a reversal to set up the slow bro. And that would just close out the game. You'd instantly take 2 prizes. Um, and the thing is, Makani is on a clock here, although it is a very, very small clock. Oh, it looks like they got up. I'm pretty sure pairings for the actual tournament just went up. I think it's pretty safe to say Nick has this one locked, though. I don't see a world where Makani is able to get out of this one. Just too much of a board established from Nick here, and no way to play around the Slowbro turn anymore since the clone was already committed.
Yeah, the way Makani committed his energies as well, very awkward now. To where killing with the Palkia only plays into the Slowbro, and so unless he has the cross switch or canceling clone and the energy all in the 2 card Iono, I don't think he has a way out of this.
I think you're unfortunately right, but I'm pretty sure the actual tournament is about to start. This was just round 0. This was just a little test run to see how the stream would run. Just yeah. Oh, Nick's back. Hi, Nick. My goat.
Personally, mine as well.
Yeah, who doesn't love Nick Alvarez? Don't answer that question. That was rhetorical.
Draws
At
his
least he's
3
playing it
cards
out
off
still.
Miriam.
They are going to be playing it out still. Really interesting hand. We see a Mighty Anna doesn't really do anything. Oh, he passes. Yeah, fair enough. We're gonna wait for Makani to get back at the very least. Play his turn, but yeah, he just passes. I believe the first attack, the Thunder Shark from the Jolteon. Oh, never mind. He's gonna retreat. The Jolteon does have free retreat, which is actually super relevant. Just gonna allow him to put the Zoro up and just chill. I guess the only thing to keep in mind maybe is because it seems like they're in kind of a stalemate board position. It could have maybe got to a point where they just wait until somebody decks out, which, based off of the amount of plays that we've seen, the amount of digging, I would presume Nick would deck out first. So he would need to find some way to start applying pressure here. I guess he could attach the D to E in hand to the Zorua and start doing 10 damage over and over again, but I don't know if that's going to allow him to get there fast enough.
Unsure where Makani Tran is right now.
I miss him. I love that dude. Can we get him back, please? Very, very upsetting.
Well, small little technical difficulty. Sawyer, what have you thought about what we've seen at Game Grid so far today?
Zork.
Very good response. We have seen a Zorak versus the weird little Palkia deck. It's actually a very weird deck, but we're going to go and resume play here. I think Nick's just going over the actions he made. And we're going to resume at Makani's hand. He does have the Nest Ball, and he does have Cross Switcher in hand. He hits the Irida, so there is a possibility of 2 Cross Switchers now. The question is, does he have Canceling Cologne? And we also have to remember Cross Switcher in this position. Oh, wait, no, you can cancel the Cross Switcher, my bad.
I don't believe I see another Canceling Cologne in the deck here. I think that all
And I
that's
think
really left
he
is
understands this, so he's getting Luminion and Earthen Vessel. Earthen Vessel, a bit of a weird pickup.
No, that makes sense. I think he needs to start establishing some form of an attacker here. He's got to do something eventually.
He needs the energy. Now, the weird question is, how does he go about attacking here? As he doesn't have a way to take 2 prizes this turn, but he also doesn't want to play into the Slowbro. He also could go for the attack and possibly just bank on Nick not having the out to the Slowbro. But the hand is pretty big.
I think something we could eventually see Makani play for is maybe going to Cross Switcher up the Gallade and play Iono in the same turn. So you can disrupt Nick's hand.
There are 2 Cross Switchers on hand, so it is a possibility next turn.
Something I maybe would have liked to see from Nick to play around that is the preemptive use of the Zoroark and attachment of the energy to put the Slowbro into play. So that way you could commit the energy, so Iono is not a threat.
Okay, and Makani attaches the energy, commits to the Moonlight Shuriken for 1 knockout. Remember, Manaphy preventing only bench damage, so he's able to kill that active
and
Zoro.
we see the boss of the Palkia.
And the boss's orders.
I think I maybe would have liked to see Makani be a little more patient there. Just wait for the turn to combine with the Cross Switcher and the Iono. Nick just had such a big hand and a Gallade in play. You saw 2 bosses get shuffled in earlier. You should have known he had game. Yeah, I think he just had to play for the Cross Switcher play. That was your only out. Or maybe they just wanted to finish the game so they could start the actual tournament. That's also very possible. We're not going to see a game 3 from them, unfortunately. I believe things are finally about to get started, but very well played set from both of them either way, going 1-1. Very, very interesting matchup. The Palkia deck definitely has a lot of options and a lot of ways to play around what the Zoroark deck is doing, but you got to play really, really well to make those things happen. Is that Kris Kemp I see on the prize card cam?
A little Kris Kemp action here. And Nick Alvarez. Go ahead and get the stream started. Shout out to our producing crew out in Utah. Obviously on site in Game Grid right now. Pray for them in Game Grid, obviously.
Love to see the new prize card cam that's been established here, giving us that extra information to allow us to commentate the match easier, have a better idea of what's going on. Let you guys at home No, oh, thank you for waving at us, Nick. I appreciate it. Chris
Cool
Tip,
Stu in the
my
chat.
goat.
Cool Stu in the chat. The vocal tones gracing this stream is Sawyer Melban, my co-host, and me, Ethan Morgan. Sawyer has numerous accomplishments in Masters. I also have a couple accomplishments myself, including a top 8 in the senior division. Sawyer coming off a top 4 in Sacramento just recently, and we're going to be commentating this Paradox Rift format cup or not cup tournament at Game Grid in Salt Lake City, hosted on the PokeDuels channel. Nick Alvarez, shout out to him for having us on the stream commentating for him.
We really appreciate the opportunity, and we love to have the opportunity to do this. Give you guys some insight on the new format, what we're going to be seeing going into LAIC and future tournaments after that, like maybe San Antonio, or just whatever local level events you want to play at. And, just have a good time watching some Pokemon and just viewing some fun matches. I'm really, really excited to see what we're able to get into today.
Right now, in the middle of rounds, getting ready. We're going to wait to see the other mat come down. We'll see who the opponent is for, I believe, Nick Alvarez starting out round 1 on the stream here. Not quite sure. You may recognize our names. We're on the Lost Zone Kitchen. Neither of us are from Utah, though. But I believe I've seen you in the Utah Pokemon Discord. I'm also in there.
I'm also in there for some reason. I do not know why we are in this Discord server. Neither of us live in Utah. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm eating Ben and Jerry's right now. I'm feeling great. To
Thanks
coincide with me feeling good. Oh, and we see Ethan's favorite playmat making an appearance here. He owns like 5 of them.
I do own 6 of them, but I do not like that playmat.
Yeah.
I famously sold all of them to Kayfabe Cards.
Shout out Kayfabe. Other great store in Utah. Yeah, I only have one of those Gyarados mats, tragically. Well, not tragically. I honestly would not like to fill my room with more of them. It is not the most visually appealing mat, in my personal opinion.
Getting the stream started up now. We're going to see who we got playing. We're going to see the decks we have just in a second here.
Oh, are we seeing Tim on the stream? My goat, Tim. One of my favorite people in the Utah scene. Great guy. He says in the chat just now, I love Sawyer. I love you too, Tim. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Turn the stream off, though. No sniping. Better not be trying to get me to coach you. It's not going to work, bud.
Yep, and we have Timothy versus Cardston going up round 1 here. Remember, Paradox Rift format. Just the local, but Paradox Rift format. These Utah locals always very, very vicious at every tournament they compete in. So hopefully we see a very, very fun tournament.
Utah, been over the past about year-ish, has become one of the most competitive areas for in the U.S. for Pokemon. A ton of really, really accomplished players and fun personalities and people who try to bring out unique and interesting decks in this area. So I'm really, really interested to see if we see any new and unique decks in this format, some cool card inclusions, and maybe some already existing archetypes. And hopefully some really, really strong gameplay.
And I just got word that our Cardston S on the left is on Mew VMAX, and Timothy on the right is on Gholdengo.
Ooh. It's a matchup I've not seen get played out very much. I'm actually really interested to see how this goes. I would maybe presume this would be favored for the Gholdengo player, just because they're able to have a more favorable price trade into the Mews. It's maybe going to be a little difficult to one-shot the Gholdengos. A lot of power tablets having to be invested for that to happen, but Judge Path or Iono Path is also something that could always come out and disrupt Tim from being able to establish a strong board.
On the right side for Tim, we see a Mulligan. On the left side for Cardston, we do see some basics in that hand. Not very common for VMAX to Mulligan, so no surprise there. The Gholdengo not running too many basics, but I think a generous amount. So Mulligan's a little weird here, but we will still a Mulligan in round 1. And they're just going to shuffle up again. Cardston, meanwhile, starting that VMAX in the active and just getting prepared.
I think something that we should be keeping in mind as well that's very relevant is the B barrel is shown in the mulligan there. very, very strong card and is going to give Tim a lot of built-in protection to these late-game judges and Ionos. Compared to some other cards you could run in its place. It's probably like the lowest maintenance and makes it the easiest to rebound from those hand disruption cards, which is going to be Cardston's main way of competing with this Gholdengo deck, is just trying to disrupt them. And it's going to make it a lot harder to do that.
Second try at the hand, and it looks like a Minion V start. Oh, not the best. This also might be a little bit good for him, as it might mask what he's playing for about a turn or two here. And his opponent might have to guess. See the prizes coming down on the left side. Nothing too crazy on the side of Cardston. UV, Forest Seal Stone, Lost Vacuum, Ultra Ball, Fusion Strike Energy, and Battle VIP Pass. We're going to go and get started. 3 Metal Energy on that right side, but I don't think it's anything terrible for that deck. And we're going to start with Timothy here. He's going to top deck the Battle VIP Pass, immediately targeting down that Mew. He's just prize checking with the Mew. Not a bad pickup. Get himself a Mew and another Pokemon, and then go dig for another Battle VIP Pass.
Something to keep in mind.
The Scyther.
Yeah, opting to play the Scizor as well as the B-Barrel. A lot of different stage 1 lines in this deck. Scizor is a very, very interesting attacker. If, again, as we saw in the match before, does 10 plus 50 more for each of your opponent's Pokemon that has an ability. If we do see 4 Genesect ever hit the board, it will be a pretty solid attacker. I don't think it is the attacker you're looking for in this matchup, though. I think you'd rather just utilize the Gholdengos, able to one-shot almost anything, and has a lot more HP. We're going to see the Greninja come out here, as well as also see a Nest Ball. I think this is definitely what we like to see from Tim here. Just getting his Gimme Ghoul ready to set an attacker up, getting his engine going. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and no Mew there either. He's not going to get too greedy. I think he understands that the greed might be a little too much, but he is going to get a concealed cards here, and he's going to see a energy and I believe a Pow Pad. And I don't think there's much more he can do on the turn here. He's going to attach an energy, and he's going to probably pass it over here to a Mew, going second with that Fusion Strike system. So he actually can get the turn 1 2 prizes on this Lumineon V. See if that's what he wants to go for. Very, very good hand. 3 basic Pokemon and a Battle VIP Pass on hand. That's all going to hit the board. And now we're going to see here if he wants to go for the Meloetta Elisa Sparkle play that Mew VMAX is known for getting.
Yeah, I think something to keep in mind that I don't know if it is in Cardston's list or not, but an Ice Cube could be very, very punishing for Timothy here. Being able to snipe a Pokemon on the bench would be able to remove the only Gimme Ghoul from play. As nice as being able to knock out the Lumineon would be and take 2 prizes, that Lumineon likely is not going to be leaving the board anytime soon, and removing a Gimme Ghoul from play just means that Timothy doesn't have any attackers on the following turn. None of these Pokemon in play are going to be able to do anything. And that would just give Cardston another turn to knock out the Lumineon. Doesn't look like we're going to see that, though. I don't believe there's an Ice Cube in Cardston's list.
No,
just going to opt for the Meloetta, which makes a lot of sense. Just possibly pop off, get a knockout on this Lumineon with it.
And the volatileness of this list obviously coming from those 3 Genesect V on the board with that Fusion Strike system ability. Every time you activate it, you draw up to the number of Fusion Strike Pokemon you have in play. 6 of them in play already. This deck is so good at doing that. So now he will always have a hand of 6 cards, meaning it is not that hard to hit an Elisa Sparkles and a Fusion Strike Energy. He also doesn't need a switch card because of Genesect being in the active here, so not the best, but very doable here. And a Fusion Strike system for 2.
Yeah, we do already see the Sparkle in the hand, but I do like this play from Cardston, opting to hold the Sparkle to see if he can draw into a Fusion Strike Energy before committing the Sparkle. As it gives you do want to be able to attach one of them for turn to your Meloetta, as you need 3 Fusion Strike Energies in play to be able to get your attack off, especially because you prized one of them. You want to make it to where you're as likely as possible to draw into the Fusion Strike Energy. We're going to see the
Crammelmatic Tails there.
Yeah, would have allowed him to get the Fusion Strike Energy, but we're not going to see it yet, so he's likely going to have to do a little more digging. Has 2 more Genesects, though, so it's not the end of the world, but we're going to see the Sparkle come out now, I guess. Oh, I don't know if he declared which Pokemon they were going to.
Yeah, he did not, but they picked up on that pretty quickly, and he targets the Mew and obviously that Meloetta.
Yeah.
And
Obviously, a very
now,
casual setting, not a big deal. Could have been a bigger deal in a bigger tournament setting, as you would have been able to see his deck and get more information before choosing what the targets could be. Sparkle, making you need to choose what Pokemon you're targeting before you search your deck. But as I said, just a for fun tournament here. Not a super big deal. You know, I presume both players are friends, you know. The Utah area is they're all pretty close to my knowledge. So, yeah, we're gonna just see, be chill about it. We're gonna see the energies go on the Meloetta and the Mew. Just setting up for the possible Meloetta attack this turn. We're gonna see, yeah, we'll see if it
he's
comes
got
out.
that small hand, and there were both picks there that he needs for
Ooh.
this turn one donk. The escape rope, though, not the optimal play as it causes Luminion V out of the active. But the Fusion Strike system, or the Fusion Strike energy, is there. So the Meloetta is active, and I really like this escape rope first. Um,
Mm.
it forces his opponent to presume that he may or may not have the Fusion Strike energy to attack with.
You know, it makes a lot of sense. I think we're going to see the Greninja go into the active. Definitely, I think the right call here. Feels bad losing the Greninja, but you can't afford to get rid of the Gimme Ghoul. And the B-Barrel, I think, is too strong. The Bidoof can become a B-Barrel, which I think is too strong of an option in this matchup. Because you just really need to be able to reestablish your hands later in the game, especially because we do see a Bidoof prized here for Tim. So Greninja probably the right sacrifice. You don't feel great about it because you just want to be able to use it to build up some bigger hands, but it is definitely the least necessary thing of all of the things you can promote off the escape rope.
Another Fusion Strike system coming out for 2 cards after that energy attachment. And I mean, not a bad turn by any means. Knocking out a piece of the draw engine, takes a Forest Seal Stone off the prizes there. So he's very set up for this next turn with his hand. Um, and he's still got the 3 Genesects on the board. Leaving a 1 prizer in the active, also really nice here. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
over to Timothy. He's going to start us off with the Arven. Lets him search out an item and a tool card. I'm not sure what the item and tool could be here. Looks like it's going to be Earthen Vessel and Forest Seal Stone, though. Not bad. You do have the Luminion V on board. Activate that Forest Seal Stone, and that's exactly what he's going to go ahead and do here.
Now, this makes a lot of sense for the grabs here. The Seal Stone allows you to get the Gholdengo to start attacking, and the Earthen Vessel will get you the 2 energies that you'll need to knock out this Meloetta, which is going to keep you in the prize race here. Oh, yeah, thank you, Tim, helping the stream out, letting us know what his
Thanks.
grab was for content purposes. I love Tim so much for that. Thank you.
And he is going to go ahead and play the Gholdengo. And with it being in the active, built-in draw engine, he's got the coin bonus ability. Draw 1, and if this Pokemon is in the active, you draw an extra card. So could be drawing up to 4 cards. Only 2 this turn though, as you only had the 1 Gholdengo. But he's gonna go ahead and play Earthen Vessel, getting the 2 energy, and just getting set up to take a knockout this turn. And I
Mhm.
really like this deck as well. You don't have to rely on the stage 2 Baxcalibur to use your energy pop off attack. You just need the energies in the hand.
Mhm. The one thing that can be a little annoying about that is it is a little anti-synergistic with your B-Barrel. Because you need to hold your energies and you can't flood them onto the board, it makes it where you see generally a few less cards off the B-Barrel at some points in the game. But I think it's really just in place to make it to where you're able to draw more off of your Ionos. You don't need to get too greedy and see a ton of cards. Once you have enough energy in your discard, all you really need every turn is just a superior energy retrieval and another Gholdengo ready to go to keep your attacks going.
Uh,
So definitely
he
still makes
is
sense to see it included.
he is going to be in a kind of awkward board position here, as no power tablets used last turn, and if Cardston hits the power tablets this turn, there's a very real chance he can knock out this 260 HP Gholdengo EX and leave Timothy with basically no attacker on board.
Yeah, it would have been a really big deal if Timothy was able to establish another gimme ghoul down this turn. Whereas now, if this Gholdengo is managed to get KO'd, it's going to be really difficult for Tim to get back into this game. There's going to be no follow-up attacker. And I think we're going to probably see Cardston try to dig to make that happen. All he needs is 3 power tablets. Cross user Strike Tactile Blast with a double turbo will do 190, and then plus 90 more damage will do 280, which is enough to knock out the Gholdengo.
And he's already got a power tablet in turn or in hand, and he's got the Flourish Stone on the Genesect. And small little note, evolving the bench one and attaching the DTE. He's very smart here, knowing his prizes. He knows he doesn't have the Force Fusion Strike energy, and he knows evolving the active one is a misplay. So he's going to make sure that he gets it on the bench one. And now he's just going to nest ball, I think, possibly for another Genesect or a Mio here. The Ice Cube, as you said earlier, also could be good, but none of those options. It's going to be the Deoxys.
Yeah, this is a card I haven't seen in this deck in a minute. Allowing you to have another one prize attacker that does a decent bit of damage. To maybe swing the prize trade in a more awkward, make it more awkward for your opponent. Maybe you would have liked to see the Vort Genesect, just because I believe if you are able to get all 3 tablets here, you're in just such a dominating board position, and giving yourself as much draw as possible to get there would be very nice. But any Pokemon will do, really, is it just allows you to draw the max cards off your existing Genesects. And you only really need one more tablet to be drawn manually, because you can force Seal Stone for the other one moving forward. So
Yep,
that's going to be the
and
big thing that I believe that Cardston is looking for, is just one more tablet to allow him to get the knockout.
Fusion Strike system coming out. He's obviously going to try and burn all of the Fusion Strike systems until he has to play these power tablets. Not quite sure why he didn't play the first power tablet before that one. Could be saving for a different play, but I think he understands that knocking out this Gholdengo might be the answer this turn.
Mm.
And yeah, he's gonna go ahead and get that power tablet down now. He's gonna play the Judge. Don't hate this, as he does already obviously have it on the board with the Force Seal Stone. And this also does put Timothy to a 4-card hand. So going in the next turn, not only does he not have an attacker, but he has barely just 5 cards off the top deck. Really nothing else to do.
Yeah, indeed, for sure. Definitely not bad to see this for Cardston. He's going to get to see a lot of new cards. His previous hand was pretty underwhelming. Not a ton of playable cards. You had like a Sparkle and like a Battle VIP, another Pokemon that you couldn't bench. Nothing that was useful. No way to get rid of them. So Judge definitely is probably the way to go here. Just allow yourself to hopefully see some more playable cards this time. We definitely do see that. A lot of things that can be played off of this Judge.
There's the Cramomatic. He has not flipped the heads on it yet, but there it is. The heads, and I think the grab kind of obvious here. He's going to go get that power tablet, I believe. We'll see here just in a second. And with that second power tablet doing 30 plus the original 190 after the double turbo energy on that Techno Blast coming from the Genesect in the Fusion Strike
Yeah,
system attack.
and he's already moved the other one to the front of the deck, and we're just gonna see the V-Star now. Maybe would have liked to seen him try to draw some more cards first to see if he could have drawn into it and not had to invest the 4 Seal Stone. But either way, it'll get you there. I don't think it's too big
And
of a
he's going to
deal, as
force the
Cardston is
stone.
just he's just in such a dominating board position from here that even if maybe this wasn't sequenced completely correctly, the knockout is here. There's not going to be a response KO from Timothy. It's looking really good for Cardston from this position.
And with that third power tablet hitting just enough damage, just over that 260 threshold. With the first one, he was only hitting the 250 threshold, but now hitting 280. That's why this deck is so volatile. 3 power tablets, and he's hitting 280, knocking out any V-Star Pokemon or Evolved EX Pokemon, like this Gholdengo EX. And
The,
just to top it off, he's going to draw 4 more cards with that final second to last Fusion Strike system. Taking a look at the hand, he's in a very good board position here. I don't think there's much Timothy can do here. And
yeah, we're just going to see the
making sure he's
knockout.
got it, and he's got the knockout. Is there anything Timothy can do from this hand and this board state? Remember, a 4-card hand off that Judge, and takes the Mew and the Launch Vacuum. 3 prizes ahead now. 2
Yeah.
prizes ahead, 3 prizes taken. Benches the Gimme Ghoul.
Yeah, if you're Tim here, I don't entirely know what your line of play is moving forward. I don't know if there's a path to victory if Cardston manages to hit all the things that are necessary here. I guess the thing that you can maybe hope for is that there's no switch card able to come down, maybe no boss on the Luminion as well to keep Timothy in the game here, but I just don't know if that's going to happen here. I think he might just be a little too far behind since he's not going to be able to get another knockout here with the Gholdengo being KO'd.
I
Really
believe
rough
I believe
position for
Timothy
him.
has to play to the out that Cardston is not able to take any more 2-prize knockouts, but if Cardston just has a boss's orders his following turn, he is immediately able to knock out that bench Luminion V. And that would put the game away, I believe, as even if Timothy could take a 3-prize turn next turn, knocking out a UV Max with that Make It Rain ability or Make It Rain attack, it's just not enough.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I mean, Tim is drawing a lot of cards here, doing a lot of thinning, playing Ultra Balls here, but I don't know if there's anything that can be grabbed that is going to make this salvageable. We're just going to have to. He could try to reestablish some Gibby goals, maybe get the attackers off the board and see if Cardston could whiff an energy on the following turn. That could possibly be a win condition. if there's no energies to establish an attack. We do see the other fusion prized, so Cardston would have to find one of the other two DTEs if this current one in the active is removed.
This takes away the play of bossing the gimme goal and being way too far ahead at that point. But the boss of the Luminion is still on the table, and I think that also puts the game away prize trade wise. So I think the line on Cardston's side is pretty clear here after the pass.
The escape rope coming out makes it to where Cardston doesn't even need to find a switch card, which I believe it's already in their hand. I believe I did see a switch there already. But this is going to reset the Mew that used Techno Blast, preventing it from attacking on the following turn. So moving to the bench, so it is being reset, it will be able to be reutilized. Although, I think it's fine from Tim to do this. I feel like you can kind of safely assume that it's coming through. And I guess this is a win condition that you can play towards, is the continuous tackle. Oh my god, it's been 3 heads.
Okay. We are not going to see a tackle KO, but tackle does do 60.
I guess Tim did play to his outs here.
That
If
was
he
a
managed to flip 9 heads, the Mew would have gotten KO'd, and he could have been back on pace to win this game. But
he actually would have. Wow, that is a crazy line that he saw there. I mean, excellent gameplay to see that line and understand that if he gets 9 heads, it is a winnable game, and that it's worth playing out as it doesn't take too much time off the clock. But obviously he didn't get it. Cardston now. I think Cardston, if he just finds the boss, puts this game away.
yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one to close out from here, for sure.
And he's got the Ultra Ball in hand, allowing him not to grab a Pokemon in this particular instance, but to thin the hand out. And he's going to draw more cards with Fusion Strike System. Points are a little deceiving here. I don't think he's used any Fusion Strike Systems this turn, as the turn did just start.
Yeah, I just forgot to move them off. Happens sometimes. I do it myself quite a bit. When using abilities, just forget to move the coins. Always a nice thing to have, to remember you've used the abilities so you don't accidentally reuse them. But you gotta remember to take them off as well.
Yeah.
I don't believe we see a boss yet in this hand.
We do not see a boss in the hand, but a lot of ways to thin the hand here, and he's going to go ahead and do that. Sees the 4 Seal Stones, so he's able to use that Lost Vacuum now. Had to make sure he could. And
Yeah,
then
it
he
makes a lot of sense. There's going to be a lot of cards drawn here. I think it's very, very likely that Cardston is able to find the boss here and close things out.
And there's a Power Tablet and an Ultra Ball, 2 very good cards to see at this point in the game, as they're very playable cards.
Yeah, as long as you're able to play your cards down, I feel like you're very, very happy here, because you just want to be able to play your hand out and draw more to try to hit the boss. They aren't exactly doing anything, like they aren't contributing to the board state, but what really matters is that you're just able to get rid of them.
He's going to play Ultra Ball and shuffle the deck, not even going in to search for a Pokemon at all.
I wonder if Timothy maybe plays the Professor Turo in this list. I think that could technically be a win condition for Timothy in this position.
If Cardston doesn't have the boss's orders this turn, he's able to go Turo away Luminion V and knock out a Mew VMAX in the same turn. That is a line that he could play to, as then it forces Cardston to take a lot more turns, and I think that would actually put the prize trick back in Timothy's favor, because the energy is reusable, the Power Tablets are not.
Yeah, I guess something else to keep in mind is, even if the Luminion gets boss KO'd, if you manage to evolve both these gimme goals, you can technically use it on the B barrel to remove that from board. And I don't believe that Cardston would have a way to one-shot either of the gimme goals in play. That does leave you very, very susceptible to a possible Iono.
And the Cramomatic, another heads flip on the Cramomatic. I think I know what he's going to go for here. Possibly the boss's orders. I don't see another option.
Yeah, I think we will likely see that.
I'm
Except
not
the
the boss's
deck
orders.
as well.
Puts it into the hand.
Big cram heads here.
That might just steal the game away. Like you said, there is that line with Professor Turo, but if there's no Professor Turo in deck, another boss's orders that we saw in the deck will just close the game out.
Even then, you need so much to go with the Turo as well. You need to establish 2 more gimme goals, you need to find enough energies to get the knockout, and you need to hit the Turo. It's just a lot of things that have to go in your way here, and I just don't know if that's going to be possible at this point. You do have the B-Barrel to draw cards to maybe try to make it happen, but Tim is, like, it's just a lot of resource you have to have. You have to be very, very fortunate. That's if he even runs the Turo. We do not have deck lists, so I don't know if that's the case, but it is a card that I have seen in Gholdengo before that would make this very playable. Path coming down does not make this any easier. That is very unfortunate to see. It's going to shut off the ability of the Gholdengos here, just making it to where Tim is going to be seeing even less cards, and just going to make it even harder to piece together this combo that would be necessary for him to possibly swing this back. And the play's gone. The Scyther got benched. Yeah, I think, all that's going to be needed is one more boss's orders, and the game is going to be closed out. I don't even know if we have a knockout yet in this current hand. On the Mew VMAX, 6 energies needed from the Gholdengo to get the knockout. You only do 50 for each discard, so discarding 5 would put you just 10 short of knocking out the Mew VMAX. You need 6 of them. This Arven might close it out, though, because you can get an energy retrieval or a vessel off of this. Plus, the Superior in your hand would give you 6 in hand and allow you to get a nice knockout here. But it is just a lot of resources that you need, and I don't know if there's enough cards in hand to make this work. Just a lot of discard effects that are going to have to be utilized. Especially if there's no more tools in the deck to be grabbed off of this Arven. It'll maybe be a little hard to get rid of things. I think we only see 4 cards in hand. It should be 5 because of the draw off the B barrel. There should be just enough. But I believe this would leave Timothy with a 0 card hand if he managed to go for this. Which, to be fair, it gets you the knockout and you have B barrel in place still. So it's not the end of the world. It's just like not exactly what you want to be doing. Something to keep in mind, though, is that the path will likely remain in play this turn, which is actually pretty bad news for Cardston if we don't see a stadium bump in the hand. As it's going to shut off Cardston's own Genesects and maybe make it harder to find the final boss to close out this game. We're gonna be interested to see if he does have the response to get rid of it or not.
And he benched the Scyther, so no Turo here, I don't believe.
Yeah, no, we already saw the Arven come down, so I don't believe that's going to be the case.
And yeah, that Path to the Peak in play, preventing the coin bonus ability from being played. Would only draw 3 cards from this position, but that could be a game-changing 3 cards. But he's just going to go ahead and play the Superior, get the energy back. I mean, he has the knockout on the Mii VMAX, but a singular boss's orders that we saw on the deck, or a Palpad boss's orders, just closes out the game.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough for sure.
And even if he doesn't have it, the Deoxys not online, I believe.
Yeah, with the fusion energy being in the hand, we're not going to be able to see it get sparkled into play and then have a DTE attached. So I don't think there's an extra way for the prize exchange to be skewed for Cardston here. I think you just want to get your knockout, get the game over with.
And Timothy announces Make It Rain does not get the knockout. But
only dealing how much? It looks like
200 damage there from that Make It Rain, and top decks the Cremomatic. And one more Cremomatic flip put this game away. I think he sees it. Yeah, he's just going to go for it. Not sure if that was correct, but he flips the heads, and that's it. He's going to go search out the boss's orders.
I don't know if it's quite there yet. The Mew VMAX did use Technoblast last turn, so it's not quite all there yet, but there is...
Yes, he does need to...
Oh, and Tim just picks up the cards. It looks like it doesn't matter. Tim is just like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to play this out. You probably got it. I don't want to waste my time.
He did take the Fusion Strike energy off the prizes there.
Oh, yeah.
Fusion Strike energy in hand, attached to that bench, and he's got 2 Mew VMAX online, easily KOing anything each turn.
Fair enough.
Boss orders really close out game.
Really rough game. Not being able to establish another Gimme Ghoul, I think, just kind of sunk Timothy's chances in that game. He really, really needed to be able to stream more attackers there, and it just wasn't going to happen once that Gholdengo got knocked out. But either way, super well played from Cardston, playing to his outs every time, figuring out what he had to do to make it hard for Timothy to get knockouts. Lumini on start also proving to be very, very unfortunate for Timothy there, giving Cardston 2 extra free prizes. Yeah. Hate to see it, but that is Pokemon sometimes.
And this tournament, being a local, is in the best of 1 format, so we're only going to see 1 game from our players, but still a very good first round game.
For sure, for sure.
So Fusion Mew VMAX versus Gholdengo EX. I do kind of like it with that B barrel, like you said earlier in the at the top of the broadcast. The draw at the late game with the judges and Ionos, I think it definitely could have come into play in that matchup. Just a bad start wasn't very good for him.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate to see. I think
We're
we
gonna have
might go
a
ahead and
break.
take a break here.
We're gonna
Just
have a
wait for the
break in
next round to
between that
start.
quick round one and our next round.
For sure, for sure. So be on the lookout for the next round, which should be starting up soon-ish. Yeah.
And while I have you guys here, I'll just go ahead and talk to chat. See Arctic the Ice Guy up here in chat. Yeah, Fusion Mew is very busted in this set. We just saw it on display. I think it's very good in this format. It's still a very quick deck, just like it always has been, and it just can always get to where it needs to be every turn as long as you play it right. We saw it there, especially with those Cramomatic head flips. It got to the boss orders every turn. Oh, and Tim on the stream chatting. I see you on your phone there, man. Probably should have went to gaming goals. I wasn't sure if it was Fusion or DT. DT shuts this deck down. DT does shut it down, I would believe. Yeah, the Lux Spray, the Grabber, can't hold the B barrels or the Gholdengo's in hand. I think the Lumineon start wasn't very good for you either. But yeah, going to Gholdengo's, I think the 1-1 is always a little greedy. But definitely just a bad, rough start. Got what you could and was outpaced by the Mev Max. Yeah, I was gonna say the path to the peak in the Fusion Mew VMAX matchup, they don't really have a solid way, or in the Charizard matchup, my bad. They don't really have that solid of a way to get to an out to the path to the peak, and it really prevents them from getting going. Obviously, turning off their uh, darkening something ability that allows them to turbo all of their fire energy onto the board and onto their Charizards to attack. He did hit, I believe, 3 Crymomatic heads in that game, only flipping tails on the very first one. Sad Nick didn't give us anything to do during the intermissions of the rounds, but we're just chilling here. No cameras or anything, so it's all in the voice. Thank you guys for still sticking around and watching us. Obviously, Tim, you don't really have a choice here in Game Grade. You have to. Sawyer's still my fan. I think Sawyer's still your fan. Uh, definitely. I think he's definitely still your fan after that one, watching you play and everything. Always showing us the cards. Very nice of you, Tim. Hope to have you back on for possibly a top 8 if we have one of those or something. But always love to see you on the streams. No top cut 4 rounds today. Thanks for notifying me. Yeah, we had no notification on the tournament format today. Thank you for that. Best of 1, 4 rounds. Just a quick local, but in the Paradox Rift format. So very, very exciting games to see. Already had a very exciting round 1 matchup. Sawyer is doing something. I'm not sure. Probably taking the intermission to his advantage. I was gone for a minute there during the game because I had to use the restroom. So, but Sawyer will be back for round two. We'll get round two overway. Yeah, thanks for the notification. The next round is going up. We'll be able to see our matchup here in just a minute, and I will notify you guys on the stream as soon as we know what the matchup is. I believe we already have our players coming over to sit down. Taking the mats off the prizes, go ahead, get set up. And we have work coming in of our matchups now, I believe. And we have a couple of very awesome new decks from this format. We have George on the left playing that Chien-Pao with Revaroom for draw from the Scarlet Violet expansion. And on the right with Charizard Matt, we have Ben playing the TM Zard, Evo TM. That's been popularized recently by Zoro playing it on his stream. He played it and chooses to go second with it as you are able to get off that turn one evolution TM to evolve into the high HP Charmeleons. And you're able to get rolling very, very fast.
Hey guys,
You're
it's me,
also
Azul. I can confirm this. Chien-Pao!
Hi, Sawyer. Yeah, we have
Hi.
Chien-Pao on the left with that Revaroom for draw. As you guys
Very
can tell on the streams roll, it is a down pair game. George at 1-0, Ben at 0-1. Coin flip gonna go underway. We'll see
the
who gets
underdog
to
can
go
catch up.
first and go second here.
Yeah, this matchup is historically favored for Chien-Pao, in my opinion. Just because you're able to kind of control the prize trade a lot better than the Charizard player can. As they are not able to one-shot a Chien-Pao with their Charizard EX. They can only take knockouts on small stuff early, which means if they once they knock out a one prizer, it's very easy for the Chien-Pao player to just keep knocking out Charizard EXs to close out the game.
Yep, and we see the prizes coming down. 2 Charmeleon on Ben's side in the prizes. Not quite sure how many they run, but 2. Never good to see a Battle VIP pass an Ultra Ball Townsword. And a Forest Seal Stone all in the prizes as well.
I know a lot
Meanwhile,
of
on
these
the left side,
TMs are lists like 3 Charmeleon generally, so there's probably gonna be 1 likely, but it's definitely gonna be rough.
on the left side, nothing too crazy in the prizes for George. We're gonna get this one overweight Charmander and the room in the active with that Revaroom draw engine. Definitely not, I think, what Ben was expecting to see. The heavy ball coming out immediately. This will be able to search out that Chien-Pao, and uh, George will also be able to see all of his prizes. Not sure what was in the hand there, but I like the heavy ball start no matter what. Get to see your prizes. And the Chien-Pao coming down will immediately notify Ben that this is not a matchup I like to see.
Yeah, definitely rough. I wonder if, since the Varoom engine is being run, if maybe there's been some adjustments that means that possibly some of the cross switchers are out of the list. That might make it a little bit easier for Ben to not just get completely run over. But
That is
I
a
mean, you could probably just,
possibility.
yeah, you could easily, but yeah, okay.
Let's
Room.
see the attached tree. Not sure how good this hand is because we're already going into that shivery chill, searching on 2 water energy from the deck. And we'll get a good look at the deck here. He's gonna get 2 water energy out. He's just gonna consult the hand, see what he wants to do. Oh, he has the
And
Battle
yeah,
VIP pass
he's doing
in hand.
great. Thriving over here. VIP. Exactly what you want to see on these opening turns. Yeah.
There's the Frigid Bags
Yeah.
and
The
the Raining
Chien-Pao deck,
Gholdengo.
very, very reliant on these really, really strong turn ones because you need a lot for your deck to function. You're going to need to get a Bax Caliber in play. You want a draw engine to make it easier to keep reestablishing Chien-Pao attacks. And you want to be able to obviously get your Chien-Paos themselves. You probably want a backup for your Bax Caliber, possibly a backup Revaroom as well. So you really, really want a strong turn one just to fill your board out as much as possible. And I think one Frigi, one Varoom, probably acceptable.
And I think what George has done with this list is taking out the barrel engine, very solid, and putting in the slightly better Revaroom engine as it draws 6 cards, and I believe it discards a card. if I'm
You have to
not wrong.
discard an energy specifically, if I'm not mistaken. Which, I mean, the deck
Doesn't
plays a
seem to be an
lot.
issue
To be
for the
fair.
Chien-Pao deck, as you have that Shivery Chill ability. Go ahead and search one out every deck, every turn.
Yeah.
And
Oh, did I see? If I'm not mistaken, did we see a Charmeleon get discarded off this Ultra Ball? Or am
oh,
I?
that might have been detrimental if
Was
he
it?
only plays.
Yeah, I
There's
don't
that
know if he
Ultra Ball.
realized that two were. That was the first action that was
That
made.
was
I
the
don't know if
very
he
first action.
realized
Goes
that
ahead
there
and
were two
VIP
Charmeleons
passes,
prized. That
and
could be
he's check
very, very bad.
and he's checking the deck. Don't
Oh, and he
think he's.
grabbed the Devo TM. Sorry, the Evo TM. I think we're about to see in real time.
Don't.
Ben's reaction to this.
I don't. Oh, he's got the Evo TM and the energy. I don't think this is gonna go very well. He's
Mm-hmm.
gonna use it. He did target the big barrel and the Charmander, so he will at least get the big barrel out on that Bidoof. But
We're
no
seeing the second
Charmeleon.
deck search. Just being like, wait, where are my Charmeleons? What
With
happened?
no Charmeleon in deck, no Charmeleon in sight. They're both in the prizes and one off that Ultra Ball. He is obviously very sad now about that Ultra Ball.
Yeah, Brewer
Not sure how
George
much that
here. This
affects
is a
this deck.
great.
I don't know if I saw a rare candy or not. George, very happy about this board state.
Yeah, I know
Obviously,
most of the
Evo's gonna
lists
come in.
play a couple candies still, just because you only you need to. Sometimes you just want to make it to where you can establish your Charizards faster. If you're going first, for example, you're
George
not able to rely on the
immediately going for
EVOTM as
that
much.
Ultra Ball on the double energy. I believe off no, just from the hand. No Shiver Chill was used. Getting that
Mm.
Revaroom, and now he's gonna go and look and see what he can do.
Yeah, I think something that maybe we would like to see from George here is a cross switch or Cologne to remove both of the Charmanders from play. If that happens, like Ben is just so far behind. And
Yeah,
with
I
the
think.
two Charmeleons in the prizes, it's just gonna be super hard to reestablish a board. Um,
Yeah,
Obviously you need a lot of cards to make that possible, and even then, I feel like you're pretty okay just like taking a knockout on anything else here. You don't even need to knock anything out realistically if you want to. Maybe you don't want to play into a possibility of a Defiance Band or a Vitality
Pokestop.
Band on a Charizard to get a knockout onto the Chien-Pao, because that would
Pokestop coming
possibly make it
down
really awkward.
and discarding the energy for the Revaroom for 3, drawing all the way to 6 cards in hand. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you play it, it is a lot. And then he's going to go and use that Shivery Chill ability. And with the Irida in hand as well, I think everything's coming together for a cross which are canceling colon play, getting 2 energy. I also don't hate just taking a knockout here, but he's going to go ahead and he's going to use this Irida, search
Mm.
through the deck. He is targeting another. Just going straight for a Frigibags Rare Candy. Has the Baxcalibur in hand from last turn.
Yep,
So
this just makes sense.
he's gonna have the Baxcalibur and that super cool ability, allowing him to attach as many water energy as he wants on his board
Mm-hmm.
anytime.
Yeah, that's
And
what's going to allow him to just take a lot of very explosive KOs, make this matchup really, really tough for Ben, as he is a very, very easy way of just knocking out the Charizard EX when they come out. One of the big strengths of Charizard EX normally is its massive HP, 330 on a two prizer, pretty unheard of up to this point. It is just massive. It's super hard to deal with. Whereas this deck is just like, okay, I'll just slam a bunch of energies down. Goodbye.
oh, and this is a play that we didn't think of. Running the Iron Hands EX build, we could see the 1 or 2 of Lightning Energy coming out from this list. I didn't assume there was an Iron Hands in here, but it is, and he could not even have to cross switch or canceling clone to take 2 prizes.
Yeah,
The
Iron
Lightning
Hands
Greninja is
here
still
would
online.
be.
And
Oh,
there's the Lightning
oh my
Energy.
gosh.
Everything is in place, I believe. Not sure if he still has the Pokestop to hit one more cross switcher, I believe. And he's
Ooh,
gonna
that could be
miss.
rough losing two C-Pows. I believe we see super odds in this list most likely, but forcing
Yeah,
yourself to have to commit them is a little awkward. It's been a very, very odd game so far for both players. A lot of very, very weird things happening. But superior in hand, I believe we are just going to see the hands KO, which is just going to swing this prize trade directly into George's
he's gonna
favor.
superior, and with all of the energy in hand, I think he has enough to manually retreat this Chien-Pao and take the Iron Hands EX. And he very much kill, which
Oh
is
yeah.
exactly what he's gonna go for here. Attaches the 3, and he's got that lightning energy in hand.
Mm-hmm.
All of the makings to use Ampy very much. Doing only 120 for 4 energy, but reading if you knock out your opponent's Pokemon with this attack, take an extra prize card. something we've seen in formats before, and it's been detrimental. Remember, Arceus, Dialga, Palkia, GX.
Or a Stoutland, I know is very, very relevant for a while. Stoutland V. These extra prize card effects, notoriously very, very strong. I mean, it just speeds up your pace of the game and makes it just to where you're applying so much pressure. So if your opponent's playing a lot of smaller Pokemon, it's just not gonna work out for them.
That's a new card we're getting to look at with this Paradox Rift Local, something you're going to see honestly very prominent at LAIC. Hopefully, there's a couple other decks I'm hoping to see today on the stream, but at least what we got was the Iron Hands EX AMP very much on turn two, mind you, from George.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Charmeleon's prize, no Charmeleon's coming out, and I don't see. I actually do think I see a rare candy there in hand. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a rare candy. He's got the Ultra Ball. So he is able to get to a Charizard EX. And I believe after the two prizes is knocking out this Iron Hands EX. So he's responding evenly. But I mean, the Chien-Pao on the board, on the bench, all it takes is a superior energy retrieval, which George took off the prizes to just load back up this Chien-Pao and knock out this Charizard EX with that
Yeah.
Bell Blade attack.
After utilizing the Superior, that gives you 4. You do need 6 to knock out the Charizard EX, but you do have Shivery Chill to get the last 2 energies, making it very, very easy to get a knockout on this Charizard EX. I believe we're going to really need to see Ben establish another Charmander here, or possibly a Radiant Charizard. Oh, wow. Sick Pokestop.
He's going to use the Pokestop, get nothing. He's going to play the Super Rod, though, getting back the Charmanders and that coveted Charmeleon. Wishes he could have had that turn 1, but obviously did not.
Yeah. I think something to keep in mind that could be a really interesting option for Ben here is I believe there is a Radiant Charizard in this deck, which could be used to swing the prize trade back into his favor. However, the Luminion being in play could make things very, very awkward still, as that would allow George to have an easy prize map after knocking out this Charizard EX to take the last 2.
Yeah.
But if there was a way to remove this Luminion from the board, maybe it could make things a little easier.
You gotta remember, George is down that first Super Rod. Not sure if he plays another one. So that could be the last we see of Iron Hands in this game. Obviously, did very good for what it was used for. But it could have also been used again. And I think George already getting ready for the superior energy retrieval. He's got 2 abilities on the board that take away energy from his hand in turn drawing cards. But he's just going to start with the Shivery Chill, I believe. Not even sure if he has any more energy left in the deck, but getting the deck search anyways, not a bad idea ever.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You really, really want these 2 energies. Doesn't look like there's any in the deck, though. The Super Rod being committed earlier, but it was used to get back a lot of the attackers and the more important Pokemon, which makes sense, but it definitely means that we're going to need to see George hit a lot more. We're going to probably need to see 2 Superiors come out now. Opting to use the Revaroom.
Do you guys have any commentating experience? It's very detailed. Thank you for the comment. I don't know if Sawyer does, but I personally do have commentating experience. I commentated tier 2 and almost tier 1 Valorant about a year ago, and I've commentated plenty of Pokemon games in my free time before. And Nick brought me on, hit him up, and he was like, "You want to commentate my locals?" I'm sure if Sawyer has any experience, though. Thank you for the comment.
Yeah, I have no commentating experience. I just play too much Pokemon. I just game a little too much. I know more than I probably should.
And he's got the Irida, so he actually has the out to the other superior energy retrieval, can go get more energy from his discard pile, and that would be more than enough to knock out this Charizard EX. And that's exactly what he's going to do.
Oh, and Ben's
sees
not
it
even gonna bother.
Ben sees it immediately. I think he's going to take a look at these prizes, and yeah, he's going to see that Charmeleon immediately. Does not like what he saw.
So
On the front of the game, but Ben moving to 0-2, and George moving to 2-0. Looking very good for George at possibly taking home this locals. Just a reminder, we have
Ethan,
4 rounds.
If you're Ben here, how are you feeling mentally? Like, how are you feeling about Pokemon as a game and as an experience in this moment?
Well, first off, I'm mad at myself for not playing Lost Box and playing Charizard, but despite that, I'm incredibly mad that I priced double Charmeleon. I'm just very mad. I'm very mad that I also hit the senior player, George, on stream and got absolutely obliterated in a very bad matchup.
Oh, Georgia Senior. That makes sense. Why? Okay, so this was like that makes sense why this was a down pair. Then that's dang.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that
bad.
is why this. Okay, that's a little weird.
I mean, yeah, already a rough matchup for Ben, especially and you're already 0-1. Just like hate to see, and with those really unfortunate prizes. I feel like that game is still maybe winnable for Ben if we do not see double Charmeleon and the other Charmeleon unfortunately being in the hand as
Yeah,
well and being discarded off the Ultra Ball is just like
the other
so
Charmeleon
unfortunate.
going off on very first action of the game on that Ultra Ball. You never think it's very risky, but ends up being risky. And we're gonna have a short little break in between round 2 and 3 here.
Yeah.
Not sure. Thank
Shout
you
out
guys for
Ben's
all tuning
shoe
in.
for being tied on that chair.
Awesome.
Love Ben's shoe.
Thanks everyone for tuning in, watching. We've been streaming for almost an hour and a half now. We're just getting ready to go into round 3. We're at the back half of this tournament now. And I think now is when we're going to start to see some of the players that have emerged in this tournament, in this new format, with some decks. We saw
Yeah.
just earlier, we saw Makani Tran versus Nick Alvarez on the round 0. We saw Zoro Zoro Toolbox versus the Palkia V-Star. And I mean, Palkia V-Star got into too much of a good board state, but Nick was able to come up and use the boss orders in game 2 to knock out a Palkia V-Star.
All
And
right.
then round 1 of the stream, we saw Mew VMAX versus the brand new deck, Gholdengo. Tried and true versus the new Mew VMAX. Tried and true, got everything it needed every turn. Flipped a couple heads, got the win. Tim did not get a very good start with that Gholdengo. That round 2 we just saw, not a very good matchup on Ben's side at all. And he tries 2 Charmeleons, getting rid of the third, the Evo TM, making no difference in the matchup at all. And George was able to run through with that Iron Hands EX, brand new card from the Paradox Rift set, getting 2 prizes off of a singular 1 prize Charmander,
Mm-hmm.
using
Yeah.
Hailblade to clean up the game.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by George's version of this Chien-Pao list with the Revaroom. I haven't seen anyone try to utilize that before. I think it's a really interesting idea. It makes a lot of sense. The deck already runs a ton of energies, and you just being able to thin them out of your hand in order to get more resources to in the early game. Sometimes you have a little too many energies, and you just want to make it easier to establish your back's caliber. And you're getting rid of an energy that you can't attach, and you're just seeing more resources because you're drawing one extra card, and you're getting rid of a card you can't really utilize fully yet. So
I do
it's a
like it.
lot. Yeah, your early turns are going to be a lot more consistent. Late game, it might be a little harder to get around Ionos and stuff. It forces you to draw into these energies immediately in order to keep drawing cards. But for the early game, it seems incredibly beneficial. I really like the idea of the Revaroom. I maybe could be interested in seeing a 1-1 split of the B barrel and the Revaroom. I feel like that could be a really interesting idea. So you have a nice balance between the two. One allowing you to be better early and see more cards and get rid of energies when they're less useful. Whereas B barrel will be better in late game whenever you just want more cards in general. But I think it's a really interesting idea, and I like George's list a lot.
I like it on the basis that it's so you draw up into the hand, you draw up to 6. You're always discarding a card when using it. So let's say you're at 4 cards in hand, instead of only drawing 2, instead of only drawing 1 like you would with B barrel up to 5, you're just getting rid of the one singular water energy that you might not have even needed that turn, might not have been able to play that turn at all. And now instead of drawing the 1 card, you're moving all the way to 3 because you're also drawing an extra card for that energy discard.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff. Love to see the innovation. Really happy. Interested to see if George is going to be able to finish out the tournament on top with this really interesting idea.
Yeah, he did get the 2-0 start, so not crazy for him to win 2 more.
Yeah. How are you feeling about? I know we didn't get to see it perform very well. Obviously, it's 0-2, but how are you feeling about the Evo TM Charizard deck as a whole?
I really like the idea. You go second, and it might, honestly, in this meta, going second throws a lot of opponents off their game. We saw the Zoro box, very reliant on going second, getting that Basculin, gather the crew attack. The Roaring Moon EX, a new deck, very reliant on going second and getting that attack off. a couple other decks very reliant on that, and you're taking that away from them, and you're also setting up your consistency to make sure that you're getting those Charizard EXs out without the rare candy usage.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. I think it's really interesting, and I think it makes it a lot easier and more consistent. Oh, I see in chat. I was the Zard player. That game was awful. Yeah, that was very unfortunate.
Yeah,
The
that was
moment
not
I
too
saw
good for
you
me then.
discard their Charmeleon and like instantly search for the evolution TM, I just like I cringed a little. Not towards your gameplay, obviously. I think you did what you could. I think you literally did not have another option in that hand. Just so unfortunate to watch.
Oh, thanks, George, for mentioning that you were George. Yeah,
Thank you,
George.
George, for being George.
Yeah, George on the left side, and thank you guys all for tuning in the stream. 10 people in the stream. We've been just hit the hour-and-a-half mark after that game. Obviously, I mean, even our two players joining in on the stream, Ben and George, obviously calling out who they were. Not the best game for Ben on that side, prizing two Charmeleons, getting rid of the third, which wasn't very good for him. George had a very good game with his deck. I think, honestly, yeah, George's deck been very well. That Chien-Pao deck always saw what he needed.
Yeah, personally, I think the deck could utilize Radiant Eevee. If it had access to Radiant Eevee, I think it would be the true BDIF.
Yeah, I could see that.
Card's broken. I love Radiant Eevee.
I could see that in a dream. Yeah,
Any Radiant Eevee fans in chat right now?
I can.
I want to see
send you.
some Radiant Eevee poggers in chat.
I can send you to Jeremy Jalen on that one. He might have something for you.
Is Jeremy Jalen a notorious Radiant Eevee fan?
No, he's just a notorious bad deck builder.
Oh, that was mean.
No, he knows. He acknowledges it.
Game is making me consider putting in Toad Scroll. You might need to. Chien-Pao is looking really popular. If you're looking to make your Chien-Pao matchup better as Zard, Toad Scroll is the way to go. And you can pretty consistently set it up because you have the Evolution TM in your deck. You can get it out on turn 1 even, which feels very, very nice. A lot of the times with the Chien-Pao decks, they're going to invest a lot of their energies to like draw up early. Like, and I see them almost always want to commit a Superior on like their first turn. And preventing them from being able to do that seems pretty solid. And like worst comes to worst, you force them to like have to cross switch your Cologne KO it, which can swing the prize trade back in your favor. Especially because I believe I saw the Defiance Band in your list. Defiance Band allows you to get back in the game pretty easily. After they do that, to get a knockout with your own Charizard EX, and suddenly the prize trade's in your favor after that. But yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and have a little break until the next round gets up. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back with you guys in a bit.
Back shortly.
Hello, yes. Okay, cool. Got it.
Welcome back to the stream, everybody. How are y'all doing? Getting ready to start round 3 here in just a second, as you can
We're
see.
back? Are we back? I don't think you're telling the truth.
Covers are off. We're getting ready to get rolling again.
That's not how that works. We're holding the tournament for Portland registration, Venom. You
Oh,
gaslit
are we?
people.
Oh, my bad.
How could you?
I saw the
All right,
covers. I didn't know it was...
everyone, go to twitter.com and type out hashtag cancel Ethan Morgan.
I didn't know Portland registration was right now. I'm not going to Portland.
That's in 15 minutes. I'm registering for it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's about it. Oh, are we starting right now, Nick? Okay.
And we're just saying, I think you guys heard it there yourselves. We're going to be seeing another Zoro box and another Gholdengo on the stream.
Yeah.
I believe at
Okay,
2-0
guys.
this time.
I'm actually the gaslighter. My apologies for being a gaslighting little gaslighter.
We'll get to see our players just here in a second, but they're going
I think we're
to
about to
go
see
ahead.
if you can tell based off the play map being utilized, my goat Kemp Kris.
And we got
Popping up.
Kris Kemp on the stream here with that beautiful Game Grid map. Make sure to check out GameGridSLC.com or Game Grid Live on Twitter. They're hosting this amazing event. Poke Duels on Twitter, on TikTok, letting us commentate this event. Shout out to him.
I already forget what the matchup is.
It is Zoro Box versus Gholdengo EX.
Oh, this is an interesting one. So that's a very, very fun matchup. A lot of Zoro box at this local we see so far. Very interesting. A deck people seem to really be appreciating. Which I think that deck's super fun. I love to see it doing super well here. That's awesome. And then we're going to see Gholdengo featured again, hopefully with maybe a little bit of a better performance than we saw from it earlier from
And
Mr. Tim.
oh, do we have
No, oh
Tim?
wait, it's just Tim again.
Do we have Tim?
How could I not recognize? My goat is back for a chance at redemption.
We have Tim on stream again. He was on stream round 1. He's back with the Gholdengo on the right. Kris Kemp, new to the stream, 2-0 on the left with the Zoro box.
I'm very, very interested to see what he can bring here. See if we have any interesting tech options for this matchup.
And
Looking
it
at the
looks like
hand
a
there.
mulligan on the side of Kris Kemp. We're going to get a Gholdengo start on this right side, and we're going to see these prizes come down on the side of Gholdengo. Nothing too crazy. A barrel, a stone, a VIP pass, a vacuum, a metal energy, and I can't quite tell what Pokemon that is.
Looks like I don't know, actually. I can't tell either. I will say, though, Force Seal Stone could be relevant. I don't know if there's one or two in Timothy's list, but if they're playing based off the Arven engine and they only have the one, that could make their
This
Arvens
is a hand of Pokemon. That's what happens when you play upwards of 20 Pokemon in this deck. All 7 top cards Pokemon. And almost all of the prizes as well. Prizing a Zorua, Zoroark, Ralts.
We do see a Basculin starter. So, but Kris is going first. Which in this matchup is probably fine. I think you're probably okay going first in this matchup. I don't think it's a big detriment. So, works out here.
Does have the Zoro and the Ralts in hand, and he's going to pass over the turn to a pop-off start. 3 Gimme Ghouls in hand. Going to throw down 2 after that Scyther start. Little bit unfortunate that Kris Kemp went first with that Basculin. Obviously, not able to attack going first. Can't use that Gather the free attack to replicate the Battle VIP pass. But I think he's okay with that start as his opponent's not threatening any knockouts.
Yeah, in this matchup, I think you're very okay going first, simply because you know that Timothy's not going to be applying any pressure, so you're going to have a turn to utilize your Gather the Crew either way. So it works out. Also gives you an extra turn to just establish your attackers and get a response into your opponent whenever they finally do something. So I think Kris
Meanwhile,
probably made the right call going first in this matchup specifically.
meanwhile, Timothy with a incredibly good start, getting 2 Gholdengo from the hand, a Nest Ball to get the other one, and a Nest Ball to get the Radiant Greninja down. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, this is really, really crazy. We're going to see Tim pop off here, hopefully.
He could still be hunting for that Bidoof now that I think about it, but he's got the Ultra Ball ready. And I mean, if he is targeting that Bidoof, he's got it. There it is. Yep. Bidoof comes straight down to the board, and this is the best start you could ask for. I don't see a line in this at all that Kris could take to win in the next turn or put himself in a crazy favorable position.
Yeah, I mean, the Zoro box deck isn't really looking to do that immediately. The deck definitely is going to be okay going at a slower pace. The deck naturally plays from behind, as I mentioned in the first match of the day, just because you want to be able to activate your reversal energies. So okay for Kris. You know, he's gonna be very okay. Just chilling and just waiting for his opponent to do something.
Pass of the turn and the Ultra Ball. Nice thing about this deck, a lot of those discard decisions very easy, because you have a lot of Pokemon that you want to get straight into the discard pile to use with the Phantom Transformation ability on that Zoroark. Obviously, if you're not familiar with it, you discard the Zoroark and you transform it into any Stage 1 Pokemon in your discard pile other than Zoroark. And the rest of the hand is those Zoroarks, but he's okay to go ahead and discard one here. Does have one prize that could come up with the Super Rod, but not too big right now. Just getting the Artisan. I think his main focus here is not giving up a Zorua and having everything on board. And remember, second turn now that Basculin is online, he can go ahead and use Gather the Crew.
Oh yeah.
Think he'll have a pretty good board state after this turn. Like you said, no problem waiting for those reversal energies to get triggered and really lighting up his opponent.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to be filling out his board here, utilizing the Artisan, and then being able to utilize the Gather the Crew. Get a full bench. This Basculin putting in work, just allowing Kris to be able to establish a very, very good board state. However, Timothy has a lot going on too. This could definitely still go either way. Both players setting up incredibly well here. So I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out.
The
Timothy,
boss's orders on the Curlia and the B-Barrel draw for 5. Not sure how much I like the boss's orders immediately, but I don't hate it calling his bluff. Do you have another Curlia? If you don't, I'm killing your draw this turn.
You know, I think this is definitely the right play. I think you really, really want Kris to whiff a response attack onto your Gholdengo here, and getting rid of the Curlia is the best way to do that. You also only have to discard 1 energy at a knockout, as the Curlia is weak to metal. So the knockout is super easy. You don't have to commit very many resources, and you already have seen that Kris hasn't played a draw supporter. You know his hand is likely very weak. So getting rid of the draw support seems like a very reasonable line of play here.
Yeah, and he's got that Gholdengo EX evolved with the energy. Use that Coleman bonus for 2 because it's in the active, drawing the extra card. He's going to go and use the Ultra Ball comfortably with that energy in hand to make sure he has the knockout due to that weakness on the Curlia. And just gets another Gholdengo EX out. He does have the opportunity to draw a card here, or with a switching card or switching option, can use it to get 2, but he's just going to use it to get 1 card, another Metal Energy.
Yeah, we see the optimal ability use counter coming out here. WV star.
Yes, the V star marker. And
definitely, I haven't seen that happen before. Somebody use their V star as an ability use counter.
And he's
Tim coming
use
through
the
with some
one
very
to take
creative
the
thinking.
knockout. So yeah, on the side of Kris now, that reversal energy is triggered. So any of these attackers now that he wants online, as long as he can get them into the discard pile. But that might be the issue on the side. No Curlia and no sign of a Curlia.
If I'm not mistaken, there was already a Zoroark in the hand though, and a reversal. So Kris should have the attack this turn, but the follow-up turns are going to be the really big problem for Kris here. Just making sure that he's able to keep these attackers coming. And you really need to.
The Zoroark, and yeah, you're right. He's got that Zoroark and the reversal and the double turbo energy, but he's going to get the skill villain out and attaching the reversal energy. This is doing 180 damage, 90, and then 90 more if it has a fire energy.
I think Gholdengo may be resistant to grass. This might only be 150, and I looks like I was correct. Only going to do 150 damage. Which is still fine. That's a very sizable amount of damage. You know, you're trying to just 2-shot this Gholdengo. I don't believe Kris has a way to 1-shot it. So just any amount of pressure is going to be fine here.
Yep.
150, solid amount of damage. But we're
I think
really going to
Kris-
need to see Kris top deck something out of this to keep
I
his
think
game.
Kris does understand that he wants to play towards that scissor, one metal energy, and once Timothy gets everything evolved on his board, they all have abilities besides that Scyther or Scissor, meaning he is hitting perfect 260 on this Gholdengo EX for the knockout.
We're
that
gonna
would
need to
be
see
the
one more ability hit the
board.
board though. There's only 4 so far, so we need to see. Oh, the Scizor has been activated. Scizor would be able to take a knockout and 5 ability Pokemon in play. Maybe a bit of a miss calculation from Tim, maybe, or maybe just not even being aware of it as an option. This
And he
Zorobox
just
deck
takes
being
the
very, very
knockout.
unique. But I mean, Tim should be aware of it. He runs Scizors of his own. So maybe it may be a little odd of him to not play around it, but also maybe just looking at the hand and being like, I don't respect it. I think I'd rather just play around Iono.
And that
You find
Scyther
it.
is on board, yeah. So if he can find the Scissor in hand, it's
I
not
don't think it's
terrible.
gonna happen though. It doesn't look like he has
Not
much of
a lot of cards
anything in this hand.
The Artisan is just going to keep him going. He's going to use it to keep filling that bench space up.
There's nothing to be grabbed though. Just doesn't touch anything. This is really unfortunate. I do think there is one line of play though in Chris's hand. I think we might see the agility come out from the Scyther here. Oh my gosh. Flips the coin if it's heads. It is not. That's really unfortunate to see. If it was heads, that Scyther would not have been able to be damaged this turn, but it looks like it's going to still be able to happen. Very, very unfortunate.
And with this rough hand, I think that was the best course of action, seeing if he can get a protected turn where he would force his opponent to have the boss, but now I think Timothy also realizing that his opponent is out there, he's going to use this Clara to build himself back up, taking advantage of the turn that he can use Clara and not have the boss's orders to take a pivotal knockout. And gonna use the coin bonuses, all of his raw cards, filling his hand up to monstrous numbers.
Yeah, it's just an absurd amount of resources coming into Tim's hand. I think Kris really needed that heads flip on the Scyther here. If that comes through, he has a lot more time to try to draw out of this, but I think maybe he's asking for a little too much to try to close out the game from this point forward.
And 2 energy, he's gonna move to 3 prizes remaining.
Yeah, Kris would need to be able to go knock out 2 prizer, knock out 2 prizer into Slowbro to win the game here. Iono is the top deck though, so maybe we could see it happen.
Playable. Yeah, with the prize trade lining up, this is technically still in Kris's favor if he can find a way to kill this Gholdengo EX. As he'll take 2, and then his opponent will take 1, and then he can take 2, and his opponent will take 1, and then he can take 2. Gotta remember also that Slowbro is an option. But I think the priority now is playing out of this hand to get himself to an attack, but no energy in sight.
I think something that we can keep in mind though, if I'm not mistaken, I think we saw Toad Scroll hit the discard here. And that is a very, very big deal in this matchup.
That is big. Timothy has the energies in hand, but not. This list doesn't run a lot, and yeah, he's gonna go and check that now. Timothy, I think, understanding what the Toad Scroll does.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just let the chat know, for those that aren't aware, Toad Scroll has an ability to where, when it's in play, any attacks, abilities, or trainers that are played that would put cards from your discard pile into your hand, you just can't. Which is very strong against this Gholdengo deck.
Also, Kris now understanding that to get the attack, he needs the energy, and so he gets the Curly and not the Zoroark, as he has that other Ultra Ball in hand. Doesn't really go anywhere for him. I think he's just gonna prioritize. I think, not sure if he's used the Artisan this turn. Really rough though, looking for that knockout. There isn't much he can do.
The thing that you have to do as Kris here is just go for the Toad Scroll and hope that. Oh, and he's checking his. Oh, wait, this is important. I'm gonna be utilizing this quick break to register for Portland.
And we're taking a quick intervention. Everyone in chat, make sure you go ahead. If you're playing in the Portland Regional Championships, registration is about to open. Make sure you go ahead and do that.
Or don't. Live your life. Do whatever decision makes you happy, you know?
Kris Kemp opening up the Arcanine as he's also contemplating how he plays this hand.
I feel like, yeah, we're going to get to see some optimal registration speedrun strategies be utilized here.
Meanwhile, waiting for the registration to open, Kris Kemp is going to figure out what he wants to Ultra Ball away here. Knows he doesn't want the Manaphy. Not sure what else. A little bit too much focus on that registration. Make sure he gets in.
I just realized that. Oh, crap. Registration's up. Refresh. All right. Time for me to try to get in.
And as all you guys know, I believe, at least in the Masters Division, it is a race to get into these regionals now. As we're having 14, 15, 16, 17, 1800 players coming up on San Antonio will be over 2,000 players in attendance. A monumentous achievement. I don't think we've never had over 2,000 players, let alone at a regional. It's gonna be insane. I think I'll be there. A bunch of other people will be there. It'll be insane.
And with that, I am now registered.
Let's go. Your very own commentator, Sawyer, registered. I'm
Oh,
personally
maybe
not
not. I'm
registering.
waiting. Oh, never mind. I am in. I had to wait for payment confirmation, but it has been confirmed now. We are good.
I am personally not playing in the Portland Regional Championship, so I won't be registering for that. Well, and I believe now, after our quick intervention for Portland registration, we're going to go ahead and get back underway with this game. Right now, currently in the middle of an action for Kris, trying to figure out what he wants to Ultra Ball away. He's got the mana fee down. He needs to figure out, and it's going to be the boss orders. Palpat down earlier, so that boss is not coming back. But I think the Ultra Ball now is too pivotal. Not sure what he could be getting off this Ultra Ball, and I think, yeah, it is going to be the Zork. Only Zork left in deck. Really wants that Super Rod now. Looking at some other options, and yeah, I don't, I don't know if he's too happy with what he's seeing in deck though.
Yeah, I know. I
Um,
think realistically, though, if he is able to establish the Toad School this turn, which this Zork will allow to happen, maybe you can just win the game based off of Tim maybe being out of resources, maybe just not having enough energies left to close out the game.
this is a possibility, and I think it's all that Kris can really play towards. So yeah, I don't hate that line of play. And one card left in hand. It is the research, so he should be able to hit an energy next turn and attack if he chooses to. But I think right now it's just going to be the Toad Scroll coming out. And as you guys all know, the Toad Scroll prevents those energies from coming back to hand through a Clara or a superior energy retrieval.
Indeed, very very strong effect. Love to see that get utilized here. And it looks like he's thinking about it, but I don't know if you really have an option. I feel like you just have to commit to it and then just like hope that your opponent doesn't have enough resources. Just play from behind from that point. I don't know if there's another win condition for Kris at this point. He's thinking about it, but I really think you just have to commit to it. It looks like he didn't. I think he just passed.
Um,
If I'm not mistaken. I believe I saw Tim draw for turn. Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting decision. I don't know whether or not he's going to be punished for it, but I mean, with the Arvin here, the Superior is going to be able to be utilized.
the
I feel
Arvin,
like,
and yeah,
yeah.
wow. Had he gotten the Toad Scroll, there's no energy coming back from the discard this turn. But the Arvin also not prioritizing the Superior. Sure if there's one in hand there, but he's gonna play that Palpad. I think also, yeah, also prioritizing his Clara and his boss there.
Hmm.
Don't hate that one. He's also got the Force Seal Stone if he needs it later. Just thinning it out of the deck though. But this could be very pivotal if he gets to a superior, taking another prize and possibly having enough energy to go through the game despite Toad Scroll. But not sure if either player really cares about Toad Scroll at this point. As we saw Kris himself look at it and just avoid it. The scissor, a very big threat too. If Kris can find, or if Timothy can find an energy, that's gonna be enough. And there's a superior now in hand. Got a coin bonus, drawing himself to an earthen vessel. I don't think this is gonna net him any energy though. There's one in deck. I don't. There's a couple more. So he's got a couple more energy in the deck, but have liked to see Kris play two outs there a little bit more. But Timothy, oh, he's just going to take the knockout, not putting any energy on. And I believe with that, there's really only one energy left in the deck. And I think if he sees the out, he gets the Toad Scroll here. Has that Miriam in hand as well to go ahead and draw. He's only going to draw 3 cards, but he might be able to get his Zard back. Zorua. Just making sure he fills out all 5 slots of this, and then he's going to shuffle, draw 3 cards, and the Artisan's still online, so he's able to guarantee himself at least another Zorua. But I think his only real way back into this game is by setting up the Toad Scroll list. Now, even if he takes the 2/2/2 line, or he takes a 2 prize for every turn, it's just not enough, as Timothy will be able to close the game out before that.
Indeed, yeah. I think we really need to see the Toad School come out now. I think the fact that it hasn't been established yet is pretty unfortunate. With only the one Zorak here, I feel like Kris just wants to use it to attack, but I don't think it's going to be enough at this point.
Yeah,
The Miriam is nice and could allow him to establish a bigger board, but
with the Miriam, he's going to draw
yeah.
3 cards, and he'll have the Artisan to guarantee his Zorua.
I guess maybe the one condition you could play towards here if you're Kris is to possibly after Timothy goes to 1 prize, you can boss the B barrel and start using Slowbro to take prizes. And if Tim doesn't have energies or a way to pivot, that might be enough to just close out the game for you if we don't see a switch or anything.
The Toad Scroll and the Slowbro combo is definitely how he could win. But he's going to use the Artisan here, eyeing up the Zorua, checking the deck to see what he has. And has the Zoruas and the Zoroark in deck to close out this game with that line, with the line of just decking his opponent out with the Toad Scroll. So always an option here. It's just, does he see the line is what is important here.
I think the fact that despite Kris not taking a single prize and Tim being up by 4, that this game is still winnable is kind of crazy and speaks to the power of some of the tools that this Zoroark's deck has access to. There's just so many interesting and powerful cards that you can use to really screw over your opponent and assemble some really, really wacky combos.
I love to see it. Finding himself, I believe, Curly and a Rod there. I do like seeing that Rod, though, can be useful during the later turns if he needs to get to his Zoroark again. Right now, I think he needs the Phantom Transfer. I think it has to be this Toad Scroll. Not sure if he's eyeing it up or not. I believe that is the Skull Villain, not the Toad Scroll.
It's going to be coming out. So, yeah, I mean, it will get the knockout, but no Toad Scroll in play. If Tim manages to find a Superior, I think that's probably all but over.
Tim does have the Superior in hand at the moment, so nothing Kris can do to stop that Superior now. He doesn't have a Toad Scroll in play. He's going to go ahead and take the knockout with the Hot Bite.
Yeah, Super Spicy Breath, I think is what it's called, actually. Hot Bite being the first attack. But we'll get the knockout.
Breath to take the knockout there, 180 with that reversal energy.
If Tim doesn't have a switch card, though, the boss Slowbro play is still manageable, as you would only need to attack twice now, and Tim would need 2 turns to try and pivot.
That actually, because so Tim does need to take another prize for Slowbro to be available. That actually could be what Kris is going for here, preserving that Toad Scroll as long as possible. But I don't know if I like that, because now his opponent has an opportunity to play the Superior, but he still hasn't played it. And I think,
but Tim also has the boss in hand here, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is likely going to be utilized.
He does have the Superior and the boss, and I mean, Superior plus bossing the Zorua, no. So not energy locking will not be an issue, and he'll only have access to that Super Spicy Breath, only doing 180. And he's also going to lost vacuum away the Artisan, even stronger, killing the Zorua now.
Oh, going for the Curlia, which I guess also makes sense.
That does make sense, actually. Playing around the Toad Scroll a little bit, using only the 1 energy, and now
Yeah.
That actually just puts the game on the board. As he has
We
three
really.
energies guaranteed in hand, it can't.
There is a Zolwark off of the top deck, which is nice, but I think without a boss, it might be a little too hard to close out the game
Yeah.
still. No supporters in sight.
Chris's only out here is actually going. So Chris's only out would to be to get a Toad Scroll and a Titan. As Titan is 180, 3 energy, not enough to knock that out on the Gholdengo. But he
Don't think it's
just goes and
possible
gets
at
the
this
Toad
point, though.
Scroll.
There's just not enough Zorwas. I don't even know what the effect of this attack is,
It does
honestly.
80 and it heals 30, but with 3 energy in hand, it's just not enough. I think had we seen the Toad Scroll just a turn prior, the energies wouldn't have come back, and Timothy would have had no energies to close the game out.
Yeah, that Toad
I think
Scroll is very powerful. Just was not able to get established early enough. And we're gonna see Tim come up, get
well,
revenge for a stream match earlier. Just
yeah, Tim goes 1-1 on the stream on the day. Not bad for him. Do want to note this knocks Kris out of contention for winning, I believe. Moves Kris to 2-1. Just unfortunate misplays. I think, like you said, though, does speak to the test of this deck. The fact that it was 2 to 6 on prizes, and the issue of Timothy just not having energy to attack anymore was very real because of Toad Scroll, blocking all those energies in the discard for the rest of the game.
it's crazy just how powerful that effect is against some decks like this. Really, really awesome stuff. Either way, super well played from Tim. I think he played that match very, very well. Targeted down a lot of the right stuff with the bosses at the right times. That one on the Curlia towards the very beginning of the game was very pivotal, and just made it to
Incredibly
where it was
pivotal
super,
early.
super difficult for Kris to get anything established in those early turns.
And take a possibly short little break until round 4. That will be our final round. And then no top cut, just locals. We'll see our last round, and then we might be able to see a final result, and we'll let you all get out.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll be back with you guys hopefully shortly. Those decently long games, so hopefully it shouldn't be too much of a wait. But we'll see you guys in a bit.
Yep. Why are we here? We got just over 10 people in the chat hanging out. If any of you guys want to chat, I am here talking with you guys. Coverage going over the prize tables. Gotta say, having the prize viewer at the locals really cool to see. Can't wait to see it in a bit more action in League Cups and League Challenges when we get some more pivotal games for championship points. Hopefully, you guys are all here because I know I will be. Hopefully, my good co-host and friend Sawyer Melban will be there as well.
I don't know that guy. Who is that?
Oh, real.
Yeah, he's not real. Sawyer Melban? More like I was silent because the joke is that I don't exist. I mean he doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
But well, we wait. Want to give a huge shout out to Nick Alvarez, Pokedables, for having us here, and well, not only that, having a London staff playmat.
In the chat, we see mentioning that Toad School does it really help in that match? Well, it didn't help because he didn't get it until the very, very last turn of the game. It needed to be established a lot sooner for it to have an impact. By the time it finally came into play, the superiors were already utilized. It took way too long for it to get established, so it
Was
didn't
that a
really matter.
game? Was that a game 2?
No, it was
In
not.
round 0, we did have game 2 of Zoro Box versus Palkia, and that game we did see the Toad Scroll hit the discard pile, and we did mention it shortly, just what it did. Wasn't very useful in that particular matchup against the Palkia V-Star deck, but they're against a deck like Gholdengo or Chien-Pao that relies on getting energy from the discard with cards like Superior Energy Retrieval. Shutting that off is incredibly pivotal, and I think there were multiple times in that game where we noticed that Kris could have put a game-winning scenario on board by just putting that Pokemon in play.
It just never came up, unfortunately. But either way, it was a fun match. Cool to see Gholdengo do Gholdengo things.
We've had very entertaining matches today, 3 rounds, and we've had actually 4 games so far, including our round 0 game. We have one more coming up. Should be 2-0 players, or I believe 3-0 players playing for what could possibly be a win on the local tonight. And it's Game Grid SLC, Salt Lake City.
Yes.
The Serena EX deck. I would like to see it. There's a lot of new decks that I would like to see with this Paradox Drift format tournament that we're seeing today. Serena EX is definitely on that list, but I mean, 4 rounds and there's so many decks. Obviously, couldn't see them all. Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
Serena
I don't
EX
even know
is
if there's
very
one in the
interesting.
room. There's only so many people. I don't think it's a particularly popular deck. I don't know. It's definitely very combo centric. I think it maybe needs a little too much to get going. I think the deck might just be a little too slow to make a real impact on the meta, but it's very interesting.
Very interesting, and I will say very entertaining deck to watch.
For sure. Yeah, would not be opposed to seeing some of it represented, but I don't believe there's any in the room, tragically. One day, maybe. All right, I'm gonna go take a break. I will be back when the next round starts.
Righty. Starting soon. I think we see those mats getting prepared to move. Means we're getting close to the start here. I'll notify you guys when we're ready to get going. Thank you guys all for tuning in and staying here at the stream with us. Just over 2 hours, nearing in on 2 hours and 20 minutes as we get ready for our final round. Thanks for moving that card on stream, man. Love to see it.
I'm not mistaken, it looks like we are back.
It's like we're back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have our final round coming up.
And based off what Nick has informed us of, it looks like we're gonna have a Chien-Pao mirror here,
And we
which
have a
is
Chien-Pao
yeah,
mirror. We
soup.
see familiar face on the left, George, and on the right, different Chien-Pao player. See who that is in just a second here. George moving up to 3-0. So I believe this will be for the win, possibly if George could get it. We have Calvin Williams, a known Utah, I believe they call him a known Utah menace. He's up at
Menace.
2-1 with the Chien-Pao Matt playing Chien-Pao in round 4 here at 2-1. Not looking too bad for him.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
You remember earlier, George had that Chien-Pao EX with the Revaroom draw engine, opting to have Revaroom instead of B-Barely. Discard energy, he dropped up to 6 up instead of up to 5.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Revaroom inclusion for sure. I'm interested to see how it's going to be utilized within this match. Card is very, very interesting.
And then in the
Yeah.
mirror match, it looks like we do have. I remember George using that Iron Hands EX. I don't think I saw the lightning energy on Calvin's side. I don't think there's a canceling flame in either list here. So it'll be more based around that Iron Hands EX usage in this match. A very fun card from the Paradox Drift set that we'll get to see used in a bigger tournament for the first time here
For
by
sure.
both of these players, I believe.
Yeah, normally this matchup can be very, very, very volatile with the canceling cologne included, and it can result in one player just kind of steamrolling early if they can manage to get a cross switch or cologne play off, get rid of the Frigibacks in play. Whereas without it, I guess it's a little more fair, you could say. It definitely feels like both players have more of a chance to set up and can do a lot of interesting things to try to skew the prize trade in their favor. Both Iron Hands EX on each side is going to make things very, very interesting
Yeah,
there.
I think it could even be less of the prize trade and more of the board states, even.
Mhm.
Remember, Dax Caliber being Lightning Week, I believe, yes?
Max Caliber is Metal Week, unfortunately, so we're not going to be seeing the
Okay.
hands taking
So
it
yeah,
out.
no hands KO there. But hands does knock out that Radiant Greninja, that Frigibax, everything else on the board of the opponent.
Mm,
Don't actually know if it knocks out the Rever, and that could be a pivotal piece in George winning this game. Did
mm.
see a mulligan from that right side, or Calvin. George on the left side get those prizes laid out. That lightning energy is in the prizes. Not sure how it's gonna go. And this is a hand for Calvin. Two
I
battle VIP pass.
oh yeah, we love to see that. He's probably just going to
Um,
be able to
there
explode
is a
here.
lightning energy on both sides of the prizes here. Cross which are also prized for Calvin. That
I think
Radiant Greninja.
that's yeah. I think that could be a big part of this matchup. Then is which player is going to be able to utilize their lightning energy first to get full value out of their Iron Hands. If they only play one, which a lot of lists are only on the one right now,
Yeah,
they don't
and
make this really, really interesting.
I will say, weird caveat here. George actually takes his prizes from the top down, from what I remember.
Ooh.
But I do see another lightning energy deck there, so I don't think it's an issue. But
Mhm.
just to know, if that is the only one in the deck, George would be the first one to take it, assuming they both take two prizes evenly at the
Mhm.
start of this game.
That makes
So
a
we'll
lot of
have to see how
sense.
this goes.
Yeah. Love to see as well, though, a Battle VIP pass coming out from Georgia's side here. Both of these players are hopefully going to have very, very explosive opening turns. Thank you for showing us the song you're listening to, Gavin Blake Williams. We appreciate it.
Yeah, George starting off with that battle VIP pass. Got the Nest Ball in hand. An Ultra Ball as well ready, probably for the next turn for that max caliber. But this Nest Ball just eyeing out a Manaphy or a Frigibax, and it's just going to be the Frigibax. I think understanding, I think possibly knowing that it is a mirror match, but no, he's going to opt for the Manaphy. I think he might be clueless to the matchup here, thinking that it is actually a Lost Box matchup. Lost Box not very popular in this metagame, but I think George does have to respect that it can get that turn one attack with Moonlight Shuriken to go
Hmm.
ahead and get himself go ahead and knock out both those Frigivacs. But that
I
is
think something that you have to respect as well is the possibility of this being like Roaring Moon or something. I know a lot of the lists have been playing water energies, so a turn one
that is
Greninja attack
something we
is
have
not
to keep in
impossible.
mind here.
So it's definitely a reasonable play to make. I don't hate it. I see the retreat into the Chien-Pao here. Just yeah, you need to get the Friggy out of danger. The Friggy being there and the
Yeah,
active
that's
in some matchups is very, very scary. You want to force your opponent to have to do a lot more to have to deal with it.
good.
But yeah,
George
Chill.
opting to, he does get that other lightning energy out. Sure, he knows that the other one is prized, but now notifying that he has two and does have one on the board ready to go if he needs it. And he's just going to use the Shivery Chill, search out two energies, and then after the thing, he's going to use the Pokestop, hoping to hit possibly another Battle VIP pass
Mm-hmm.
or a Nest Ball, hitting neither and discarding a Pokestop. But he hits Superior, and I think that's just going to be the pass return.
Makes a lot of sense. And we're hopefully going to see Calvin do something just as explosive. I know, as we mentioned,
Calvin
double
has an
VIP pass.
incredible hand. He's going to see the prizes here. He will understand that if that's his only lightning, that he will only have that he won't have the lightning energy to work with, which could be pivotal. It could see George using his two lightnings to use one to take the two prizes first, using boss orders or cross switch or canceling one, but just a raw Iron Hands EX.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
Calvin,
I don't know if
I
there's
like
going to be
starting
two
with the
lightnings
heavy
in
ball,
Calvin's
getting the
case.
quick prize check. And now I think McGraw will gonna go into the very pop off turn. Multiple battle VIP pass in this hand. I believe I also saw a Nest Ball.
And then after this, he's also going to get to utilize the Pokestop too and get even more resources. There's going to be outstick and sealed cards. Looks like only
Starting
one
off with
VIP played so far.
battle VIP pass and a Nest Ball played. Still letting him go get three Pokemon, easily getting the double fridge backs, and also big thing to note: no pivotal Pokemon prize for Calvin, no Pokemon at all prize for Calvin. And meanwhile, on George's side, no Rating Greninja, no third fridge backs, and also a Bex Caliber prize. Don't think that will matter very much, but you never know.
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of things can happen still.
Calvin just gonna respect the fact that he has a lot of resources in hand, I believe, and he's just gonna get the one Frigibax, the Bidoof, and the Chien-Pao. Yeah, has access to the second battle VIP pass with Irida in hand, and he's gonna go ahead and do just that, using the Irida to basically set up his entire board if he decides to get battle VIP pass here.
Mm-hmm.
Did prize one, but he'll have two others in the deck. Yeah, that's exactly what he's gonna go ahead and do.
Yeah.
Also getting two water Pokemon out. I think if he's smart though, he's actually gonna go get himself a Excalibur off this Irida water Pokemon search.
Yeah, realistically, I mean, yeah, Calvin is just going to be in a very, very dominating position because of this. So many resources coming out. The Irida already being played as well, giving an extra
And
resource
goes
in
and
hand. I believe a
gets
Bax
and
was
gets
grabbed. I don't know.
two
No Bax was
Pokemon,
grabbed.
no water Pokemon grabbed off the Irida there.
Interesting.
That is
Not
a little
valuing
weird.
getting the Bax Caliber.
And
Pokestop
he's gonna
used.
spin
Yeah.
the Pokestop, getting another battle VIP pass. Wow.
Can't even
And
play it at this point, which is a little bit of a
yeah,
shame. So not the best Pokestop in the world, but the rest of the hand still looks all right. So I wouldn't be too worried
this
about
is a
Calvin here.
very good board state. I would have liked to seen a Excalibur grabbed off that Irida, but not the end of the world, obviously. George is just going to use the Shivery Chill ability, get started. And yeah, George's board state not really affected at all. He's got the Revaroom, got the Manphy, got the Frigibax. He has all of the evolving Pokemon he needs, and he's got energy in hand. I think the only thing he would really like to see is a Radiant Greninja, but Heavy Ball being prized as well. He's not going to see that for a while here, especially knowing the way he takes his prizes. That would actually be his last prize. So we might not get to see Radiant Greninja from George at all.
Yeah, it's a
Not
very, very real
sure if that's an
possibility.
issue at all when
But
you
the
are
heavy ball
using
would
the
be
rep.
taken off the top, to be fair, based off of what you're saying. So maybe we'll get to see it. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Pokestop, seeing another battle VIP pass. These Pokestops are seeing so many battle VIP passes today.
Yeah.
Discarding a Bax Caliber again. George obviously knowing, not sure what George actually wants to get to this turn. I think the best play here is KOing this Radiant Greninja with an Iron Hands EX with MP very much, hitting 120, and obviously hitting that weakness on the Radiant Greninja to take the knockout. As that lighting energy in the discard and the superior.
Yeah,
And
I feel like
he's
if an
got the
Iron
other
Hand comes out
energies.
here, George is just in a very dominating position and is going to be able to control the prize trade. Another two
Yeah.
prizer is going to have to be used in the Chien-Pao in order to get a knockout on the Iron Hands, which can be responded to by another Chien-Pao from George. And after that, I don't know if it's possible for Calvin to establish something, but we'd have to see the hands come out this turn, which, whether or not we will, is a very big question. But I don't know if there's enough gas in the hand quite yet for that to happen, but a lot more turn to be played, still a Pokestop and a Revaroom to be utilized, so a lot of cards that can be drawn to make it possible.
Yep. And yeah, Ultra Ball getting that Excalibur, and he's got the rare candy Excalibur. And also think he has the energy in hand. He's got that superior, he's got the retreat. He's just gonna load up 3, and I think he's just gonna take the knockout. They don't hate this. If Calvin wants, so Calvin does have a line here where he just kills the Excalibur with a cross switcher play with his own Chien-Pao, leaving a 2-prizer in the active, but there's nothing George can do about it, as George doesn't have another Excalibur to put energy on the board and respond with. So I think Calvin, having that superior in hand, could see this line and go for it. And yeah, he's going to spin that Pokestop first hitting and Ultra Ball, exactly what he needs to get to this rare candy Excalibur play on turn 2. And yeah,
Yeah, I think this is what we want to see. After a knockout's been taken like that, this definitely is a big opening for Calvin here. Being able to get a knockout with this Chien-Pao here
I
could
will
put
say
him
as
back
well, I've noticed
on pace to.
Calvin has. So also I've noticed Calvin actually plays the Iron Hands EX and the Cross Switcher canceling one combo.
Ooh.
Not very commonly seen, as usually it's one or the other being subbed out for each other.
Yeah,
But
but it
he's
looks like
managed
Cologne's
to
gone
both.
already, so he's not going to be able to get the full value out of it, unfortunately.
I think he understands what the board state is looking like, and he understands that he can very easily actually be in a commanding position if he's able to take the KO this turn. But he needs to get to a point where he can use cross switcher or boss's orders if he plays it. I don't think he does though.
Don't know if that's going to happen, though. It just whiffs the Excalibur,
And he
so it
whips
doesn't
the
matter.
Excalibur. That's huge. Huge.
Maybe
On
getting
both
punished for not
ends.
finding it off the Irida earlier, had the opportunity to, and just chose not to. And looks like he might be getting punished for it. Just has to pass the turn, and this is very, very big opening here for George.
George in a really good position here, actually. He has the nest ball, so if he has the cross switchers or a boss orders, not sure if he has that or not, he can go get this Iron Hands and use Superior, and I think that's exactly what he's gonna do. Taking 2 prizes this turn and forcing a 2-prizer to respond, this puts him in a very, very pivotal position, or very, very good position, where he's never losing the prize trade as he's always trading evenly and ahead.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's necessary for him to go with the hands here. I feel like there's a lot, like, if you just knock out anything this turn, you're in a good spot, and it's going to be really, really hard to come back from.
Calvin grabbed that Excalibur, I believe, off the Ultra Balls, but was not able to find a rare candy to combo it with during his turn, is what I remember. And that's what's allowing George to be very hyper aggressive this turn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. There was a line. I don't think George has that canceling Kelowna deck. I think he plays that. So no line of killing double Frigibacks this turn. But I mean, the Iron Hands puts him so far ahead on the prizes. I think it is probably one of the best plays this turn he could pull off.
For sure, I could definitely see that being the case here. It would, but I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, as long as we see a superior in hand, I don't think it matters too much, and yeah, we see it. Because if you can knock out the Chien-Pao with your own Chien-Pao, you should be able to manipulate the prize trade pretty much however you like from this point forward. Calvin missing an attack this turn is just, I think, going to put too much of a deficit for him, and it's going to be really hard for him to establish a way to win this game moving forward. Yeah, we're just going to see emotions being played out, figuring out what the energies need to be attached to here. Another superior coming through, if I'm not mistaken, or is that just him? Was he still deciding on the first one?
That is the first one. He was still deciding what to get.
Fair enough, but
And
okay. I mean,
went ahead and got the energy.
I think he
that
has
lightning for turn.
Oh,
and
escape
got the
rope.
escape
That'll
rope.
work just all right.
Yeah, escape
Even
rope.
better than the
forcing-
cross switcher, committing less resources. It's huge.
Escape rope, forcing any of Calvin's bench Pokemon to come up. His choice, though, but any of the bench Pokemon dying because Iron Hands EX. So Calvin taking the choice, getting rid of one of that Frigibax. And so, I mean, he should be able to get to his Bax Caliber this turn, but George just in such a good board state. I mean, even if this Iron Hands goes down this turn, he has the Chien-Pao to respond, and then George is winning in 2 turns here, and Calvin still 6 prizes remaining. I don't think there's anything Calvin can really do to bring this prize shit back in his favor.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe if this, I think the thing that he needs to hope for is that if he can knock out enough Pokemon, with energies, that maybe George whiffs a superior on a turn or just whiffs an important resource and can't get another attack off, which is always a possibility. Especially because a Revaroom hasn't been established. I don't know if Calvin plays something like an Iono. Iono could be huge here and make things very, very difficult for George, but I don't know if he has access to it in this current state. But he still needs to. The Bax Caliber finally coming into play. She's gonna allow him to hopefully enact that game plan, get rid of his hands, and then hope that George just whiffs some sort of key piece in the future turns that prevents him from attacking.
Yeah, and he has to respond with his Chien-Pao EX, so he's gonna announce. He's gonna first take the Industrious Incisors to get under the card. No Frigibax down at the moment, and all those energies going down. So there is a very clear line that George can take here. To I think, yeah, if he kills this Frigibax this turn, that is putting the game away. As Calvin has 0 response the turn after, and George could honestly even close the game out that next turn.
Yeah, that would be incredibly problematic for Calvin here. And
The
he's
Raging
putting
Greninja is in
energies
the
play.
hand, but the Ultra Ball also in the hand. The Ultra Ball going to be used,
Yeah,
getting that Revaroom finally down. So finally a bigger draw engine here for George. And I think finding he has not played a single cross switcher, still all 4 in deck unprized. Just needs to get to 2 of them to be able to kill this Max Caliber with a Chien-Pao EX.
Yeah, that'd be very, very important to secure. I think that would definitely have a huge impact at this point.
He's drawn a lot of cards here. Not quite sure what he has in hand. He has a superior there, so he has all the energy. So I mean, even taking just 2 prizes, responding to this Chien-Pao with your Chien-Pao, nothing bad about that. You're putting Calvin on the back foot. Calvin needs to get to a cross switcher play or another Chien-Pao to respond to this, and even if he does, you're fine. And yeah, the Iono gonna come down.
Yeah, just smooth things out even more. There's already going to be a knockout on this Chien-Pao in the active. This is just, this is a lost cause. If this is a best of 3, I think I probably would have scooped up my cards at this point. I don't know how playable this
And
is.
Pokestop to ice it out with a superior energy retrieval and an Ultra Ball.
Yeah, losing the Irida doesn't matter too much at this point. Like, you can already establish a ton of energies on board and just make this pretty much impossible for
Anything George could want. He's gonna
Calvin.
go ahead and take that knockout with Hail Blade, 4 energies,
And the
taking
only
2
thing that
prizes.
I could maybe think of is if Calvin has Iono plus knockout and George can't manage to find another energy to activate the Revaroom, maybe something can happen here, but I'm not. Oh, there is the Iono in hand. He
So the
does actually
Iono's in
play the
hand,
Iono, which is a really big
and the
deal.
Ultra Ball. Iono and Ultra Ball. This is a very feasible thing to happen now.
Wow, I
Iono to
didn't.
1.
Yeah,
So
we
yeah,
may be able to see the weakness of the Revaroom finally come out.
Iono putting George to 1 card. The Revaroom, not a consistent draw as you need to discard energy. I think if George does hit the energy, that's a very easy draw.
Something
But
to keep in
George
mind
cannot.
is something that you can keep in mind is that if this champ okay reveals the VIP,
And yeah,
if
the
the
Iono to 1 comes out. Not sure if Calvin also might have whiffed the energy needed to take the knockout here.
I mean,
Remember,
all
he
that's needed
needs
is a superior energy retrieval, to be fair, but
needs
it doesn't
4.
look
He has
like it's there yet.
1.
Has access to B barrel still, though, to be fair.
Yes, he does. Has I think another couple playable cards in hand.
Yeah, I can attach the lightning for turn if he wants to. Pokestop first. The superior's hit.
Pokestop, and yeah,
Very, very
there's
big deal.
superior. So the Iona to 1 and the superior energy retrieval knockout all coming down this turn.
Hasn't even B barreled yet, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like this is a big
He
turn
has
for
not
Calvin.
beat
A
her.
lot of
This is
really, really
amazing
good
for
hit.
Calvin. Calvin able to flip around a missing Baxcalibur turn 2 getting 4 energy there. He's gonna have enough with this Chien-Pao to knock out. Like the lightning attachment, and just lets him keep water in play, as I believe he can. I actually don't know if he can discard that one, but
No, I
no
don't
matter
believe you
what,
can, unfortunately. It's only
yeah, but
water energies that can be discarded. I'm
no
not
matter what,
entirely
he's
sure
got
what
the
the reason
energy.
for putting it on the B barrel was, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of just want to
Um,
draw more cards, so at least just
Possibly
get it
a
out of
boss
hand.
stall, maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like if the yeah combined with an Iono maybe, but I feel like you have enough energies to where it's not going to make a huge difference. Also means, to be fair, that unless we get to see this B barrel like retreat at some point, if this is the only lightning in the list, it's possible that Calvin can't attack with an Iron Hands to close out the game. And if there's no other two prizes put into play, that does give George one more turn to try to draw out of this Iono. So
Yeah,
that lightning attachment could actually be very, very upsetting for Calvin if he feels the
and
need to go for the Iron Hands to close out the game.
yeah. Calvin actually down. I think with that lightning attachment down both of his outs to taking 2 prizes with his Pokemon also being down the canceling one.
Hmm.
Um,
It's definitely
so
not impossible yet, though. To be fair, he just has
there's
to
an
retreat the B barrel.
there's an out where George could have an extra turn after this one to close out the game. Calvin
Hmm.
gonna take that final cross searcher and a Nestball off the prizes, and the Radiant Greninja to the active. What was the card?
We don't see George hiding it from us, but
Top deck. He's gonna
presumably
go for
nothing
this
super
top
relevant. Do we see a
Nestball.
superior?
You're
No
gonna Ultra Ball, no
superior.
superior.
This is looking rough if you're George
And the
here.
top deck was I believe,
The
Chien-Pao.
superior! The top deck was superior energy retrieval.
Oh wow, no way.
Wow, that's insane. That's huge. That is exactly what George needed here. That's going to, and with the nest ball in hand as well. Oh, this is
If he has
perfect.
the Chien-Pao and the superior,
It's not quite game yet. There's no energies in deck, but this will allow George to go. He can use the superior here, load up some energies in play, and then use the last one off the Revaroom to draw 6 cards. And all he needs is
yeah,
a rod or
that's
another energy
exactly
retrieval in order to close out the game. This is a
that's exactly
huge
what
hit.
he's gonna go for. I think, yeah, one more superior is all he needs. 3, and he's gonna go for 1. He needs
Hmm.
2 more energy.
Maybe would have liked to see one of the energies he put onto the Greninja in case Rod is the draw off of this,
Yeah,
because now the retreat can't be made. But oh, there's the
and
other
there's a
superior in
superior.
hand.
He's got it.
Yeah, and with
Getting
that,
getting 2 more water energy, attaching 1 to
oh
the
yeah,
active.
plenty of energies in there.
1 to the
Yeah.
active and 1 to the Chien-Pao, and that is the game.
Yep. We see very, very well played from George there, man. It's just to close it out. George gonna go 4-0 and is gonna be our champion today.
George going 4-0. Not sure if he'll be the champion of today, but going 4-0 at local, still very good with this interesting Chien-Pao deck in the Paradox Rift format, playing the
Yeah, the
Iron Hands EX and the Revaroom Draw Engine.
I really like the Rev Room idea, and I'm glad that it was fully utilized. Going 4-0 with his own interesting idea and change to the list. That's really, really cool to see.
And
So
it was
major props to
proven
George.
there. Iono to 1. That's where the draw engine should have faltered the most, not having immediate access to that draw engine. And it proves that it still works. You just got to draw your outs.
Yeah, super awesome stuff for sure. Major props to George. Congratulations on the undefeated record in this tournament. We love to see it.
That was all of our rounds. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Nick. What?
And Nick is gone.
Oh, is that George? Oh, George waving at me. Hi, George.
It's done the stream, no way.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I see Calvin already going in the Twitch chat. And for me, and for you, Calvin. Good night, Brew. Good nights. It's
Yes.
not a good night for me out here. I live in the same time zone as Utah, so I'm not going to sleep anytime soon. But
Yeah,
I
I
hope you
cannot relate. It is about to be 11 p.m. for me, but I will just not go to sleep because I don't make good decisions for myself.
good job, Sawyer.
Thank you,
Well,
thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Aw, thank you
yeah,
for the kiss, Brew. I greatly appreciate it. You are my goat.
Also, George, might want to move your feet a little bit, bud. Yeah, thanks, George.
Bro, the toes were yeah. Because Sawyer will stay up playing 04 Guardy. I will do that if I had them. Then run of a thought. Yes, okay. I would do these things. I've done these things before at like 1 in the morning. Not gonna happen today, unfortunately.
Revaroom
There's a
on
McDonald's
now, bro.
actually that's like a mile from my house. I could go for a little run if I wanted to, but I spent enough
You
money
could,
on food today. I don't think I'm
you
gonna do
could do
that.
that. You could do that. Yes, I
Yes, I can hear
can.
you, Nick. Mhm. Hold up.
You
Before you
get,
do it, I
uh,
gotta like the tweet real quick.
get a Nick.
Yeah, can I like the tweet first, just in case it's like I just like the tweet. You can do it now. It should be 86 instead of 85.
Let's see, a Nick Albert.
God damn it.
73. Yep. Congratulations. Yes, we
Yes.
can. Good
Congratulations.
job.
I'm so proud of you, Tim. We love to see it. Dude, Kris punted against you.
He did not get the Gholdengo out. We were very confused about that one.
You mean the Toad School? Yeah, he needed if you
Our
put
Toad
Stone
School.
School in play, he just wins the game. No, it was like he had it like a Zoroark in play. He could have just like not attacked and put it down, and he just like chose to pass.
Thanks for
I
That's
think
pretty
we had a
fun.
great time.
I think we did pretty good as well. Sawyer did very good as a first time caster.
I talked about cards.
Yeah, pretty good at that. I can hear you, Nick. I don't know if they
I can
can.
hear you. Yeah, maybe they can't hear
Hold
you.
on, test it.
Dang, you can't hear that stuff. Yeah, somebody the giveaway thing was done. Nick randomized the thingamabob majig, and the winner was CPU as Azazel. So congratulations on your PSA 10 Pikachu. Hooray. Don't do drugs.
Good advice.
Awesome. God, I love Cbrew06.
Awesome.
What a nice, supportive, kind man.